the last one on it, or you can just chuck some audio at me and I'll find it.
Yeah, we can chat.
And we're back at the Central Co-op County Ground in Derby for another East Midlands derby. Let's face it, the East Midlands derby. We had the minor East Midlands derby in the middle of the week and won that nicely, convincingly at Grace Road. Martin Anderson, what a performance from him. Several other good performances as well, a half century from Caleb Jewell. Another wicket for Jack Morley, who's the leading wicket taker in the competition. Derbyshire starting to get it together on the pitch after a couple of matches in which they were very much in it, some would say on top in one of them, but couldn't quite get it over the line. The psychological boost of that will be enormous. But it's a derby. Form goes out of the window. Two teams who are desperate for a victory here at the Central Co-op County Ground this evening. Weather set fair, not, well, 2 out of 2, but not in the way they would have wanted so far this season. Defeats to the Roses rivals Yorkshire and Lancashire, so they will be ultra keen to get off the mark. Local bragging rights will ensure that Derbyshire will be just as keen to secure a victory here this evening. So which way will it go? Well, it's difficult to tell because these games, even when Notts have had the upper hand, they've always been close, and Derbyshire have always been in the games, it seems, and Notts have just had the upper hand. It's time for Derbyshire to change that particular narrative. The Derbyshire side, well, it's unlikely to show too many changes, is it, after a fine victory in which they were one short of the highest ever score in T20 cricket, and Martin Anderson became only the second person in this country to take 6 wickets and a half century in the same match. He really is in the form of his life, and I hope he's not listening and that doesn't jinx him. We'll wait and find out. He's in great form this season, as are so many of them. Perfectly brand new pitch as well here for this match, which has been lovingly prepared, and the weather is set for a nice cooling breeze. And don't forget, over there, although that won't make a lot of sense, is the fan zone, which is fantastic. New addition this season. Get yourself there, have a little look round, get yourself something to eat, something to drink, and enjoy the action as it unfolds over the course of the next 3 hours or so. Which way will it go? Who knows? What I do know is we're going to be royally entertained.
Where's Fletch going to start?
Fletch will get after.
Got the Donald Johnny.
Are they here?
I've not seen him yet. Yeah.
If you're ready when near
It's like a sponsor's
Can I grab you as normal straight out of the... It's going to keep it nice and brief and then come to us. Thank you, mate.
We have both our captains here now, Nye Donald and Joe Clark, shaking hands. The team sheets have been exchanged. Just a few housekeeping rules now from the two umpires.
And throughout the back, this will be already and for the overseas, which will just 2 points. Anything you want to ask?
There's all gone.
Tails is Nye Donald has won the toss, so the Falcons are going to have a bat.
Just do the pictures first. Yeah. Don't be bothered, Joe. Just for a couple of pictures, please. Just have the skippers first with a handshake.
Belford has been closed after a serious crash. Police say that the A609 Belford Road is closed between the crossroads of the Blackpool.
Derbyshire win the toss and bat.
Thank you.
I'm only saying it so I vaguely remember it.
President Putin has neither confirmed nor denied whether a drone which crashed into a block of flats.
And we're all right because he's going to speak to Gibbo first. So
Cool.
Am I making a noise or is it just the receiver?
Apart from your voice, you're making no noise.
She said, well,
Standing on length there.
about this incident. It's all a distraction of public opinion, but she didn't say whether this was Russian. Derbyshire Fire Rescue Service say people don't realise how dangerous the water can be in hot weather. Is after 7 people died in water-related deaths during the heat wave. Also warning people to stay away from Louise Dempsey is the manager at the fire service.
In the hot weather, as the water remains cold and you can get exposed to cold water shock, that can occur.
Danny Howells, he worries me.
Your body can have muscle cramps and can get into difficulty breathing.
38 varieties.
That's going to be great for even the strongest of swimmers. You're actually know whether the lifeguards on duty and hands to help them out.
Derbyshire County Council has voted plans to reinstate the railway line to Gloucester. The original Dales Railway line closed in 1968 after declining passenger numbers. Some councillors say bringing it back would boost economic growth. But this was just a vote of support for Dumb weather brighter this evening with only a few spots of clouds around. Highs of 23 Celsius and the UV index is high. Tonight will be dry and clear with very little to no cloud conditions and winds. That's the latest.
BBC Radio Derby.
Good evening from the county ground. We have an evening of T20 cricket to enjoy, an East Midlands derby, the second in as many days for Derbyshire. Fresh from a convincing win at Grace Road against Leicestershire, it's the one that really matters tonight. Notts Outlaws in town, still looking for their first win of this year's Blast. Ball by ball commentary to come right here on BBC Radio Derby.
BBC
5 in live.
And given we are under half an hour from play commencing, we best go straight to the middle where Dave Fletcher has the Derbyshire captain Nye Donald with him.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, Derbyshire won the toss. They're batting first. You were decisive today.
Yeah, a little bit more so, especially after the other night. Sun's shining, looks a good wicket, and certainly the last two games we batted first looks like it suits us, so we're going to run with that for the minute.
How much confidence does what you did, getting over the line, and what you did on Wednesday night give the squad?
Yeah, exactly that. It's getting that off our back, really. As you know, I feel like we played some pretty tidy cricket the first few games as well and just lost it right at the back end, and to see the boys be so clinical and it'd be such a team performance as well was great to see, and hopefully we can keep that rolling.
Might see Martin Anderson bowl tonight?
Well, we'll see. Depends on the matchups, Don't want to give too much away.
one East Midlands derby in midweek, but this is the real one, isn't it? This is the one that everybody wants to win.
Yeah, definitely. I felt that ever since I come up here, really. Not especially over the years in white ball cricket, have been some team, and it's been great to kind of get a couple of decent results against them in the last few years. So hopefully we can kind of keep making this place a difficult place for them to come and get another one over them.
Boundaries a long way out square again, as they often are here, but there's a nice little breeze blowing towards the players' pavilion. You'll be targeting that area?
Yeah, it's usually targeting the ropes, regardless of how far away they are. But yeah, look, it's, the dimensions usually stay pretty similar here. There's nothing crazy, pretty even all the way around, and we know it's a good wicket, so usually there's a good score on the board, and hopefully those runs can kind of drive us home.
Let you go and pad up. Thank you, Nye.
Dave Fletcher with the Derbyshire skipper Nye Donald, who has won the toss, and Derbyshire will be getting first go on a strip under glorious sunshine. Good evening from Chris Coles and the rest of the team at the county ground. This is beautifully set. T20 cricket often at its best under conditions like this, and when Notts are in town, there's always that extra bit of excitement, especially given Derbyshire's victory against Leicestershire on Wednesday. Delighted to welcome former Derbyshire all-rounder Greg Cork back to the box. Greg, good evening to you.
Good evening. What beautiful weather.
Couldn't be better, could it?
Absolutely. This is what the players want, this is what the fans want.
And going into tonight, couldn't really have Derbyshire in a better mode, given not only victory against Leicestershire and East Midlands derby, but not really the one that everyone wants to win, but the manner of victory at Grace Road. In T20 terms, it was a crushing victory.
Absolute complete performance from start to finish. A lot of outstanding performances, but I think collectively as a team, it was great to see them get over the line. And I think the first two games that they've had before that, they've been competing. So if there's ever a time to strike when the fire's hot, it's now.
When you look at the scorecard, there's clearly one man that jumps off the page. Martin Anderson, 57 from 29, and is 6 for 23. Derbyshire's best records in this competition. Something like, I think, the 5th or the 6th best in the T20 Blast in its entire iteration. It was one of those bowling performances that was full of everything, including that remarkable Corton bowled.
I think he was shocked. I think what his role is in the team ultimately is just to try and get as many dot balls as he can. He's not really a out and out wicket taker, but he bowled really well, very smart, and reaped the rewards further on down the line.
Everyone seems to be wondering why it was the first time we've seen him with the white ball in hand. No one has an answer. Nye Donald didn't really have an answer. What's been your take?
It's a difficult one, I think, for Nye. Obviously, he's new to captaincy, he's keeping and he's opening batting, so he's got probably a lot on his mind, but sometimes, you've got to try, you've got to experiment, and I think after that performance, he'd probably be one of the first on the bowling sheet.
Yeah, I quite like Nye's answer to Fletcher about it. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see what the matchups. Can you imagine if he didn't get a bowl after taking 6 for 23?
He'll be absolutely gutted, but I think listening to his post-match review is a sort of person where it doesn't really matter what his individual contributions are, as long as the team's winning, that's all that matters.
So the stage is very much set. There are a few white fluffy clouds overhead, but otherwise it is perfect. We can see the shadows of the floodlights encroaching on the strip, which is just a fraction to the left where it was the other night. So the boundary one side is slightly shorter, so we know the likes of Nye Donald in particular will be targeting that range. And Greg, when you look at Derbyshire as a whole in this competition, the batting actually has been pretty secure, and the batting has not been the issue. And with someone like the captain at the top of the order, we all know how he plays, and if he gets off to a good start, then more often than not it sets Derbyshire on their way to a very competitive total.
Yeah, and looking at his last couple of scores, 19, 10 and 49 respectively, hopefully it's his time to kick on now, and a nice similar Chesterfield innings last year. Hopefully we get a glimpse of that tonight.
Been doing some homework there, Greg?
I've been taking your sheet.
Quite right. Good sheet, that, isn't it?
Yes.
Too
much time on your hands.
You're not kidding.
We'll have no plagiarism in the commentary box. Thank you.
Oh, we will.
Fletcher, I remember from this position of old that every time I'd ask you about how conditions looked, you'd come back and say, idea. Not a clue.
It's weird. You're right, I would say that, and I will still say that. It looked to me earlier on today when I first arrived like it was a used pitch, and I walked out to the middle with David Griffin, Neil Godrich, the head groundsman, was there. I said, used pitch then, Neil? Well, he nearly blew up because it's a fresh pitch. So nothing old about it, although it's clearly a bit frayed at the edges. It should be a good pitch. It should be a good pitch. The breeze, as we look out from the racecourse end, is blowing from right to left. So towards the players' pavilion is with the wind, which could be important because they're quite a long way out. I think the boundaries are possibly a little bit longer than they were at Grace Road, which is a huge playing surface, but they did bring the boundaries in towards the old scoreboard a little bit on Wednesday night. You've just got to be wary of that. The last thing you want is your big hitters to be caught a yard inside the boundary rope, of course.
Psychologically, Greg, when you've just posted your best T20 figures in 2:30 for 5, first best, was it second best, Fletch?
Who, what?
Derbyshire 2:30 on Wednesday.
Second.
That was second highest.
The highest was 2:31, yeah.
Second highest. I suppose you're not taking the pitch and the conditions into too much consideration when you know you've got that ability batting first to post such a competitive total.
I agree, and I think the last couple of home performances as well, they've scored very, very highly. They should now understand what a par score is and what's above par as well, and hopefully this is, whenever you're in a tournament or a competition, you want to peak at the right time. Yes, they lost 2 very close games. They've recently beat Leicester as well. They've probably got knots on the ropes, obviously bottom of the league as well. So if there's ever a time to sort of get one over the troops down the A52 in Nottingham, it's now.
It does feel that way, Fletch, when you look at the Notts team, and we've spoken a little bit before we went on air about the makeup of Notts over the years, and they'd come with the big hitters. They'd come with your Alex Hales and your Ben Duckett, Dan Christian, Stephen Mullaney, and then Jake Ball, Harry Gurney, Samit, of course, who we've seen here the last couple of seasons. They don't have those superstars anymore, and it feels much more of an even matchup.
They don't scare me as much as almost every Nottinghamshire side who's ever played Derbyshire in the last, 10 years used to do. You're right, those names aren't there, but we know how good Joe Clark is. Tom Moores has been around forever with a little help from his friends. Then they've added to it, haven't they, Benny Howell, who's got 37 variations apparently, has just gone around the world playing T20 cricket in the last 5 years or so, made a lot of money. George Linder, the overseas, Dylan Pennington, Mohammed Ali, Ollie Stone is an international quality bowling lineup, even though they're not regulars at the moment internationally, but they've all played international cricket, whereas Derbyshire's bowling attack of largely Ben Aitchison, Nick Potts, Jack Morley and Akif Javed, along with Matthew Montgomery. There's only Akif Javed who's played internationally out of those players, and I think that makes a big difference, the experience, and let's get the elephant in the room out in the open. Akif hasn't bowled particularly well so far. It will be a good night for him to show us exactly what he can do. But you're right, Notts Outlaws are not as scary as they used to be, but having lost their first 2 matches, they'll be keen to put that right.
Yeah, and they've still got some dangerous players on the pitch, but they probably just haven't found that formula yet that works for them. Hopefully with Derbyshire now, it's been really impressive to watch the likes of Nick Potts and also Jack Morley as well, who've really shone and stood out really for Derbyshire.
Morley's been outstanding. Morley is the leading wicket taker in the competition at the moment. Yes, Derbyshire played a game more than everybody else, but he's got 8, and nobody has reached 8 wickets in a T20 Blast competition quicker for Derbyshire, which shows you how well he has been going. So, and the 3 games he's just going through his bowling action now out in the middle with Chris Wright. Prior to the first game of this season, he had played 1 game for Lancashire in T20 and bowled 2 overs, and that was it. So I think he's been excellent, and he's had to pick himself up at the start of this season. With Shoaib Bashir coming in, he knew he wasn't going to be playing at the start of the campaign. You're not going to play 2 spinners in April, so he almost certainly knew that he would have to concentrate on the Blast.
Derbyshire unchanged, unsurprisingly.
Yes, I forgot to ask Anar in that, but you're right.
There's no need. Well, you knew what the answer was going to be.
Well, I asked him prior to that, and then completely forgot to ask him when the microphone was in front of his face. But you're right, unchanged.
And Notts have brought in Ollie Stone, so that's a quality bowler to come in for Notts, and Furhan Ahmed misses out for the Outlaws. when you have that consistency, Greg, in any sport, it's such a luxury to be able to name a consistent team for all the reasons we know. And in cricket in particular, it feels like if you can get your bowlers in a nice rhythm, if you can get your batters obviously in good form, then you've got a great recipe there for victory. And of course, what we didn't mention, we talk about the batting and the bowling, was Ross Whiteley's fielding, because some of the catches that he took were instrumental to victory as well.
Yeah, I think it's them little 1%ers as well. It's all about momentum. And Derbyshire seem like they're in a really good spot now to really take that performance from Grace Road tonight. I think they owe it to the fans tonight to get one over against Notts. Obviously, it's going to be tough going to the away fixture, but it just seems like there's a little bit of optimism in the air, as Fletch would say.
You looked very pointedly at me when you said that. I was accused earlier by the chief executive of sounding optimistic.
Wow.
Yeah, in a commentary that he was listening to recently. So I thank Ryan Duckett for that, and I'm going to have to sort that out.
But it's a new game. Obviously, they can take a lot of confidence from Grace Road, but it's new conditions, new dimensions. I think the sun will play a factor as well. They're against a good team, so it's clean slate for both teams.
But they can take confidence as well, Greg, from recent results against Notts. I know it's a new game and it's a new night, etc., but Fletch will remember more than most that there were times when Notts would routinely win every single game, not just in seasons. They'd win Trent Bridge, they'd win here, and I think that the record was something like 13 or 14 consecutive matches Derbyshire didn't win. They've won 2 of the last 4 over the last 2 years. So take out the big hitters. There's also that psychological edge, presumably, that this team is beatable.
Absolutely, and Notts in the table, they've lost every single game so far, so their backs are against the ropes at the moment. Derbyshire, I think, are favourites tonight.
I think you're right. No, I agree with you. I think they are favourites tonight, and it's how they cope with being favourites, because I think Derbyshire, certainly over the 10 years I've been covering them, I've quite liked it when they've not been favourites, because then when they do achieve something, there's an even bigger celebration. Seriously, no, it's true though. It's true. You mentioned the sun there. There's a fantastic tweet put out by David Griffin today. It was on this day in 2009 that play in a game against Nottinghamshire in the T20 here at Derby was halted because of the setting sun. That was the following year. They turned the square back around and the sun was setting away to our right, and he's actually got a couple of photographs of the I can't do that because it's a screenshot of the crane that was holding a large sheet of metal to try and block out the sun so they could carry on, as he describes it. Heath Robinson. It was incredible, but no such issues tonight, apart from, as you say, Greg, if you're fielding away to our left in front of the players' pavilion, you're basically going to be shielding your eyes for the entirety of this first innings. So that's something else that will play. The fact that the outfield isn't very good, being replaced in the winter, of course, it's comfortably the worst outfield that we come across, certainly in the second division. I can't imagine there are any outfields in the first division that are as bad as this, but it is being replaced in the winter. It's a real teeth shatterer, this outfield.
Teeth shatterer.
Oh, it is. There are some phenomenal. There was a phenomenal bounce in the game on. I think it was in the game on Wednesday night, where the ball bounced just in front of Ashton Turner, who was quite a tall lad. He was out on the long on or long off boundary, long off probably, and it bounced about 5 yards in front of it and flew over his head. And that's the kind of bounce you'll get here at Derby as well. Now, that should be an advantage to Derbyshire because they know and they'll be taking extra care. So you would expect that Nottinghamshire will have seen that. They'll have played here, of course, in the past, and it hasn't got any better from last year. So they will be wary of that, certainly, and that could just help Derbyshire a little bit of home advantage.
When you look at the makeup of the Derbyshire side, Greg, and there does seem to be a really nice balance now. And when you look at the middle order, there'll be one man in that Derbyshire team that will be very keen to put on a good performance, and that's Matt Montgomery, who's formerly, of course, of Notts, where he was a fairly consistent selection, I would say, in the Notts side. Probably never hit the heights that Notts wanted from him. So he will be very keen to, as they say, show what his former side have been missing.
Absolutely. I think he was probably around when they had the big names. It was probably very difficult to try and break into that team. So I think Derby and Mickey Arthur have made a really good signing, and he's been phenomenal for them as well. And it's scary to think that Derbyshire's stalwart that is Wayne Madsen hasn't really kicked on too much yet, but everybody else around him has done really well, and obviously Jewel as well played a really good knock at Grace Road. But it's been the sort of fringe players or the sort of players that you wouldn't have thought were going to be first on the team list that have actually stood up, which is really refreshing.
Montgomery's average in this competition is currently 140 with the bat. They're the total number of runs that he scored because he's only been out once, and you compare that to Wayne Madsen, who's got 42 runs in the 3 innings, which is very un-Madsen-like. And even before the season had started, and I don't think it's necessarily anything to do with this competition, but Mickey Arthur, when talking about Matthew Montgomery, was basically saying, well, yeah, I see him as the long-term replacement for Wayne Madsen. We've been discussing that in the media room earlier today, and interestingly, and I think it's right, they are completely different players, whereas Wayne Madsen is very much a stylist, isn't he? You see the glorious cover drives and the little flicks and all the rest of it that he's developed over the years in T20 cricket, whereas Matthew Montgomery really is a rugged, he was described by one person in there as he's like a street fighter. He has to battle for everything he gets, and this season he has battled superbly. He opened the bowling in the first 2 matches, didn't open the bowling at Leicestershire, that was left to Jack Morley, but he's more than happy to bowl in the power play with his idiosyncratic off-spin that he bowls, and his batting has been terrific. So in this and in the red ball stuff as well, you can see how he will replace Wayne Madsen. Somebody will replace Wayne Madsen sooner or later because he's 42 years of age, for goodness sake. But you can see how Montgomery would do that. And the other thing is, and it's fooled me more than once this season already, he's exactly the same as Wayne Madsen. You watch them when they're batting, if they didn't have the numbers on their backs, it would be almost impossible to tell them apart with the helmets on. And even in the field, the way he runs, everything about Matthew Montgomery says Wayne Madsen. It's remarkable.
Well, if he can get anywhere near Madsen's numbers in his long and distinguished career, then he'll be doing very well. Contributions down the order, Greg, and this is something, I suppose, for Derbyshire they haven't always had over the years, that you wouldn't have to go back too long to know that if Madsen didn't score, if Elias Deploy didn't score, then the target wouldn't be very high. But now there are contributions everywhere, and even looking at the 3 games that Derbyshire have played, the 74 against Durham from Montgomery, then the 81 from Anderson against Yorkshire, everyone pretty much contributed against Leicestershire. That can take you so far.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of the time when teams are doing the analysis of other teams, they'll look at 2 or 3 batters. They know that if they get, a couple of years ago, if they get the likes of Wayne Madsen out and an overseas out, they're really in for a good chance of winning. But the performances from the likes of Anderson, Montgomery, even Bashra's little cameo right at the end against Leicester as well, and then moving on to the bowling as well, the likes of, I keep on saying it, Jack Morley, Nick Potts have done really well.
And Ben Aitchison's figures have got rather lost, Fletch, from Wednesday. Obviously, the eyes are drawn straight away to Anderson's 6 for 23, but 2 for 7 off his 2 overs, Ben Aitchison. Someone who we're just all desperate to get a run of games because of the injuries that have plagued him over the years.
Start of this season, first game, he looked like the bowler that we saw in 2020, which is great news for Ben Aitchison, because at that time we saw him when he arrived from Lancashire. It was behind closed doors at Trent Bridge in the COVID season, and all of a sudden we're thinking, hang on a minute, we've got a proper cricketer on our hands here. Then he went to Durham, wasn't playing in the game, went over on his ankle. That was the end of the season. Then he came back and he broke his back, and that was the end of the season. And you're right, he's been plagued by injuries, but so far this season, touch wood, he looks in terrific form. And he said to me, I asked him about his form and how he was bowling now, and he said he's just changed his action slightly, and he no longer feels like he's fighting to get to the crease. Now, I've no idea what that means. He looks smooth. You know more about that than me, Greg. When you're fighting to get to the crease, then you can't really bowl to your best, I assume.
And bowling's all about feel, and for him it would have taken him a little bit of time to get back to how it feels, and actions evolve, and you change things. They've got a good bowling coach in Chris Wright as well. He probably would have worked very closely over over the winter with Ben Aitchison, but it's refreshing to see somebody who's had so many injuries be able to come back and probably do a lot better than what he thought. And also as well, Derbyshire have lost a lot of their bowlers that Mickey probably would have put on the score sheet straight away. So the depth and the people putting their hands up puts Derbyshire in really good stead. He will have a bit of a challenge when these guys are coming back and are fully fit, which obviously ultimately puts Derbyshire in a very strong position. They just need to get there.
I think Mick Arthur he's told us that you look at what in January he thought his bowling lineup in the T20 might look like. Sufyan Makeem was coming, the left arm leg spinner from Pakistan, rather than Javed. He would have had Zach Chappell. Sorry, I'm going through them in my head. He would have had Harry Moore, and he would have had Pat Brown, of course, Anuj Dal, who didn't play a lot of T20 cricket last season, but he's an option. He will be back hopefully for the two championship matches upcoming. Lewis Rees a few years ago was a terrific all-rounder, but isn't bowling very much, and so Moore's out for the season, and Zach Chappell probably be ready for the second half of the T20, but there was a thought he might be ready for Trent Bridge, which is a week on Sunday, but if that's his first game back, unless he's 100% fit, there's another championship match starting a few days after that. I don't think you risk him. And Pat Brown's had a shoulder operation, which he really should have had 12 months ago, and he's now coming back from that. He played the whole of last season with a shoulder injury and didn't do himself any favours at all. Didn't do himself any favours in the fact that the injury probably got worse, and he didn't bowl particularly well either as a result of having a shoulder injury. So he'd have been better off in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, of course, having that operation last year. So there's no way in the world, if you'd sat anybody down who knows anything about Derbyshire and said, what will the bowling attack be on the first T20 Blast match, you almost certainly wouldn't have had Nick Potts in it, who was nowhere near the first team really, but came in at Lords and did really well, so he gets his go. Would you have had Jack Morley? Probably not, if you've got a left arm leg spinner as one of your overseas. Would Ben Aitchison be in it? Well, he did pick up 5 wickets at Headingley last season in a match, but he's very much a red ball specialist. He won't thank me for saying that, but he's top of off, moving the ball away, swinging it through the air. This is a white ball he's using, and he's got to have a number of variations to try and stop himself from being clouted out of the ground. So it's completely different, and well done to Derbyshire's squad and the depth of the squad for being able to cope with losing all those players.
Well, the focus will be on Derbyshire's batting to begin proceedings. Nye Donald, who is at the bottom of the pavilion, leaning on his bat, waiting for the Notts players to emerge from the dressing room. They're there. They're all leaning on the balcony at the moment. They don't look particularly ready for action, it has to be said. Waiting for the umpires to emerge, potentially. But Derbyshire winning the toss and will bat first on what is a glorious evening in Derby. The county ground looking resplendent. The red stumps are in. The bar and the burgers and fries vans doing roaring trades away to our right, and there's a really healthy number inside this ground. They were hoping for a sellout. Not too far away from a sellout was the expectation. I'm sure there'll be many that have finished work and are deciding that an evening in the sun watching the East Midlands Derby, Derbyshire against Notts, is for them, as Notts appear from the pavilion in their checkered green shirts and the green trousers. Umpires Hassan Adnan and Simon Widdop there as well. So too Derbyshire's openers, Aaron Donald and Martin Anderson. And Greg, there is little complication when these two players. Fletcher, when he spoke to Martin after the win against Leicestershire, put it, Nye does the thrashing and the smashing, and Martin contributes, and then when Nye goes, Martin becomes the thrasher. It's a very simple way of going about it.
And sometimes in T20 they overcomplicate it. See ball, hit ball, that's what Donald does, and Martin Anderson accumulates at the other end and tries to get off strike. So it seems like they've got a good formula.
Is Martin Anderson's shots are slightly more regulation, shall we say, than an Aaron Donald's. Wednesday night he played and missed the first 3 deliveries that Josh Hull sent down. It was 3 dot balls to begin with, and one of them he didn't get within about 2 foot of, and you're thinking, oh no, I just needs a score, and then off he went, 49, and clothed one at the start of the 7th over, so they got through the power play without losing a wicket. But they need a good start. against a Nottinghamshire side who'll be desperate for a win.
Yeah, 49 from his 24, and Aaron Donald at the top of the order on Wednesday. Notts 0 from 2, as Fletch says. They will be desperate to win, and they'll see this as an opportunity against their arch rivals. And for Derbyshire, who have won 2 of their last 4 against Notts, off the mark in the T20 Blast on Wednesday against Leicestershire, and have been performing well. Can they add another victory over their arch rivals under the sunshine at the county ground? It's live on BBC Radio Derby, and the first ball is about to be bowled with captain Nye Donald on strike. So it's over to former Derbyshire all-rounder Greg Cork alongside Dave Fletcher.
Thank you, Colsey. Good to have some radio royalty with us this evening. It's not often you get to work with somebody who works regularly for 5 Live, but Chris will get used to it. Dylan Pennington's going to bowl. That's the end of it. Dylan Pennington will bowl the first over from the city end to an Aaron Donald, who plays and misses. That one, a little bit of extra bounce possibly.
People are expecting 4 and 6s after the first ball, aren't they?
Well, some of us are. Yes. 2 men outside the circle, a deep backward square leg, which is with the wind, and a backward point on the boundary away to our right-hand side. Sun not quite setting, but now Aaron Donald is standing right in the shadow of one of the floodlight heads, which is slightly disconcerting, I would have thought, as Pennington comes in and Donald just dabs it down into the ground and they'll go through for a single. Derbyshire are up and running. It's not quite how we expect them to get off the mark.
Seems like they've both changed roles. Too many dot balls even after two balls of the game. I feel like he's just probably assessing the condition.
And Aaron Donald has only played the T20 Blast this season, whereas Martin Anderson, of course, has been a key member of the Red Bull side. That will make a difference as well, won't it? The amount of cricket that each of them has played. As Pennington comes into Anderson, who takes one step towards him and then guides it down to short third man, where it's filled by somebody who's not on my... Oh, no, it is George Linder. He is on my team sheet.
I think it doesn't really matter what format you play, as long as you're out there, you're getting miles in your legs, you're batting out in the middle. That's where you're worth your weight in gold ultimately. So the longer you can stay out there, red or white, the more value you can add to the team and also your form as well. Nye
was sort of travelling around with the team as a constant substitute potential as Pennington bowls to Anderson, who drives straight to the man at extra cover on this occasion.
Were you surprised with the decision at the toss from Donald?
Well, he was very uncertain at Grace Road, and I think he was quite pleased that he was the Derbyshire were put in. It's one of those grounds, isn't it, where it's quite... If you can get a big score first up, it's difficult for the opposition because it is so big, and you're tempted to go an awful long way or try to go an awful long way. I've no idea what I would have done as Pennington bowls, and this time Anderson makes room for himself and hits the man on the edge of the circle with a cut shot. That was a really nice piece of fielding by Benny Howell on the edge of the circle, and they're struggling just to get Pennington away in this first over.
Really set the tone well here, Dylan Pennington.
He's bowled 5 deliveries, he's conceded 1 run. We've seen a couple of good shots from Martin Anderson. I don't think he's the kind of batter who gets particularly frustrated about not scoring. That isn't to suggest that he isn't a deep thinker about the game, but I don't think he's a deep thinker about the game.
No, and they've just brought out Slip because it seems like he wants to try and get out the over with damage limitations.
So Pennington into Anderson, who's lifted this straight up in the air. It's gone for 6. Blimey, that's gone an awful long way. It's just hit the roof of the media centre. It's come back on the right side, I think. Yeah, it's just dropped down by the hover cover down below us. So a 6 off the final ball, 7 off the over, and Derbyshire after 1. A 7 with Outlaws. Wasn't exactly where he intended to hit it now.
When it's your competition, and it seems like everything that Martin touches goes to gold. So that could have gone straight up very easily. Derbyshire ultimately one for one before that, but good start.
George Linder is going to bowl the first over from the racecourse end, and Aaron Donald is scratching away at the crease at the far end, making sure he's got a good grip of the earth. And again, 2 men out. Actually, one of them is, well, he's not even on the backward square leg boundary anymore because he's gone to quite a straight mid wicket. The other one is at long off down below us to our left. I'm sure an Aaron Donald will be very keen to take George Linder on here. This could be quite the contest. He'll be hitting into the wind towards the square leg boundary. I know he's aware of that. And Linder, he's in left arm around the wicket. There's down the leg side immediately Hassan Adnan. Signals wide and another run goes on. Don't play that wah-wah, please. Eat without loss. They decided not to play it this time.
And this is going to be the matchup in the power play. Two very explosive, well, one explosive batter and one very experienced bowler here.
Linder, and again, that's again down the leg side. It's helped away, round the corner, down to deep backward square leg for 4 by an Aaron Donald. So he's up and running as well properly now after that rather hurried scampered single, the first ball of the previous over. Second ball of the previous over. And Derbyshire move on to 11-12 without loss, including the wide. I'll get there eventually.
It must be so frustrating. You know exactly how Donald's going to play, and you try and counter that, but it just seems like he's outsmarting an international bowler.
And we'll have some sort of response here as he comes in again. Down the track comes Donald, and he absolutely tries to hammer it down the ground. He's going to get 4 down to third man as it comes off the outside edge. He's got away with one a bit there, although it was along the ground, so he's not too bad at all, but suggests a little bit of turn, possibly.
Yes. I think when the ball's above his eye line, he's just going to run down, really. I think short third man could have given that a better effort, to be fair. It seems like he jumped over that a little bit. But when it's going your way, you just got to keep on going.
You can't wear those yellow-orange boots, can you, and not be good in the field, I fancy. I'll work out who it is and name him in a minute. So it's 16 without loss. Donald on to 9. In comes Linder again around the wicket. This one's been helped out towards the Monarch stand. I don't think he's got the legs to go for 6. He might not have the legs to go for 4. It does, just about. It sort of plugged a little bit, but carried on going. And it's another 4 to an Aaron Donald.
And with that boundary, sees a field change as well. Deep in wicket's just gone. I believe we'll move to deep square leg. Just about understanding what the best pace is to bowl on this wicket. Seems like Donald's got one up on him at the moment.
78 in the power play at Grace Road, which the television people were saying was Derbyshire's equal 3rd highest power play. They have no idea, as now Donald goes back and just plays it out into the offside. It's straight to a fielder, and there's no run. 20 without loss then after 10 deliveries. Exactly the kind of start Derbyshire would have been hoping for in the big East Midlands derby with their near neighbours, the Outlaws. As Linder, he's in again. Down the track he comes, and again he's got on edge, and again it's rolling down towards the third man boundary. This time it's kept in down there in the far distance, and they managed to scamper through for a couple and move on to 22 without loss.
Seems like they're being a little less reckless at the moment here. Seems like they're playing very tactically. And I think as well, Derbyshire need to probably do this a bit more often, build that platform for that middle order to really kick on and set a good total.
Oh, this time it's a swing and a miss from an Aaron Donald. That wasn't less reckless as it might have been. 22 without loss at the end of 2 overs, though, going along at around about 11 and over by my calculations. 15 from that one.
Not a bad start. Usually there's a wicket when Derbyshire play. There's usually a wicket or 2 within the first 2 overs. So
absolutely,
we're doing well.
Yes.
What did they say about 3 wickets in the power play again, Fletch?
You can't
Just
win.
for the viewers.
Yeah, you can't win. You can't win a game if you lose 3. I don't know. I've no proof of that. But Dylan Pennington's going to bowl his second. Went for 7, and rather unfortunate to go for 7. In truth, in the first over, he comes in and he bowls to Martin Anderson, who guides this out into the offside. There's a shot. The stumps, if that hits, he's in a bit of trouble. No, says Hassan Adnan. And Aaron Donald is home. A terrific throw from Benny Howell. 1 stump to aim at. Bales go flying, but Hassan Adnan in the perfect position, the former Derbyshire man, to say not out.
He always giving the batter the benefit of the doubt.
Must have been tight, though. Must have been tight. I wonder if we're going to get a good view on the replay here. No, we're not going. No, he was comfortably home, wasn't he? Home by about 5 yards. Here's Pennington to bowl to Donald, who's gone for the little scoop and missed it. He's gone down the leg side, but he's not going to get a wide for that. He's moving around too much. And the bowler, I think that's a good innovation.
Yeah, I think you've got to be a bit more lenient. It's very much a batter's game at the moment with them wide lines. It just, when you're bowling, it just looks so narrow. And when you've got somebody who is as explosive, dynamic as Donald, your margin for errors are so slim.
Donald waits, Pennington bowls, and this one's lifted out for 6 into the mid-wicket area, and that's cleared the rope by about 15 yards out there with the wind. He's used every bit of that wind to get it across the rope for a 6. Donald moves on to 21 now, and Derbyshire up to 29 without loss. That was a big hit.
You don't need any wind at all with the bats that they've got now, and they're confident they can clear any boundary, irrelevant of the size.
Don't sound bitter, Greg. It's not a nice look. 29 without loss. Pennington in and bowls to Donald, who smashes this into the leg side. They've now got 2 fielders out there on the boundary, though not, so he'll just get a single, move on to 22, 30 without loss, and we're 2 balls away from the end of the 3rd over.
Very fascinating as well over the past 2 or 3 overs. When they've hit a boundary, it seems like there's an immediate field change.
Yeah. Following the ball a bit.
101.
Bit village, but there we are. It's not. As Pennington comes in again. This will come back to bite us at some point. Anderson pushes this nicely out into the offside, but can't beat the fielder. George Munsey in there at extra cover. He gets a little low 5 from Benny Howell.
Very destructive at the top of the order, showing that in Scottish colours. Left-hander, a bit unconventional with the way he plays, but seems like he strikes the ball extremely well.
Anderson waits 1 step towards Pennington and then edges it down to third man for 4 runs. So he gets another boundary. End of the over, 34 without loss. 12 off that one. Really good start for Derbyshire here. They have to make the most of this.
With the pace that Pennington's bowling at, it seems like Martin Anderson's just given himself a little bit of room, and they've got short third man, so a metre either side, and it's racing away to the boundary for 4. So
it's a pointless position, really, isn't it? Really, short third man, short fine leg. They sort of hide players there generally. T20 sides. Looks like Muhammad Ali's going to have a go from the racecourse end.
Where would you be fielding, Fletch, if you were out there? Would you be hiding? Would you be in front of the batter?
There'll be a lot of hiding going on. It's difficult to hide when you're 6'4" and tall and 4 foot wide. It's quite difficult to hide anywhere, I've found over the years. So Muhammad Ali then, 34 without loss, the Falcons bowling to an Aaron Donald, who just, he plays and misses at that one. It's not taken cleanly by Tom Moores, diving away to his right-hand side behind the stumps. He's a long way back. He's 20 yards back there. So he's obviously bowling with a bit of pace, is Muhammad Ali. Big man, looks strong. Looks like he can get the ball to the other end pretty quickly. Darren Smith in the box, the head of the talent pathway. .34 without loss. Donald 22, Anderson 11. Muhammad Ali from the racecourse set bowls to the Derbyshire skipper, who's, he's got another edge, and this one has gone. Has it gone all the way? Or is it just 4? It's 4. Hassan Adnan says, how many of their runs have come off the edge of the bat? I know they paid for the whole bat.
Seems like when it rains it pours at the moment, but you'll absolutely take that as a Derbyshire player. Doesn't matter where it goes, what part of the field it goes, as long as it's going towards the boundary, they won't care.
Without loss now. We've only had 2 balls of the 4th over. Another terrific start for Derbyshire. And Aaron Donald on 26 at 200 his strike rate. Muhammad Ali comes in and bowls to him, and he tries to play a scoop shot. It comes off the inside edge of his bat, goes out to square leg, and they go through for a single. I don't think either of them have hit anything particularly cleanly. And when Martin Anderson has hit the ball cleanly, apart from the 6, of course, but when Martin Anderson has hit them cleanly, he's hit them straight to fielders.
Yeah.
So their plans have been pretty good in placing putting the fielders where they think Martin Anderson's going to hit the ball, because he plays slightly more conventional shots than an Aaron Donald. But he's just had a bit of luck. Short third man is still in place. Short fine leg is a little squarer. That short fine leg is almost like a fly slip. And there is a man down on the deep backward point boundary, as well as a man on the square leg boundary. 39 without loss. Anderson waits for Ali to bowl. This comes off the edge of the bat and goes down to third man for 4 runs. It's absolutely incredible. I'm going to have to get
the wagon wheel off to see where it is.
Absolutely going to have to get the wagon wheel out.
You wouldn't be expecting this from your openers, the wagon wheel. You'd be expecting that from 9, 10 and 11.
1, 2, there have been 3. That's the 4th one that's gone off the edge down to third man for 4 runs. Remarkable, really. Most of them have come off Donald's bat, I fancy. We had 2 of them. And now Martin Anderson's had a couple as well.
Even though it's not conventional areas of the ground, Derbyshire are just slowly setting a really good platform in this power play.
Anderson up to 15 off 8, 43 with Outlaws. Muhammad Ali bowls, and this one's guided slightly more deliberately by Martin Anderson down towards sort of wide third man, deep backward point on the boundary in front of the members' pavilion. He takes a single to move to 16, 44 without loss with 1 ball of the 4th over to go.
And this is the sort of power play that I've really wanted Derbyshire to sort of have. Seems like they've just been a little bit too destructive, and it's cost them a handful of wickets in the power play. It really just set the tone, having a great power play for the likes of Madsen, Jewell, Whiteley, Montgomery.
Got that good engine room, haven't they, this season, it seems, as Muhammad Ali bowls. And that's clothed up towards mid-off. They've gone through for a single. They take the single. It wasn't a particularly convincing shot from an Aaron Donald, but they've got 11 off that over as well. 45 without loss after 4. You don't hear Gary Newman very often these days, do you? You should hear Gary Newman more often, I always think. Good to hear him. Went to see him many, many years ago. He and Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark on the same bill. Anyway, 45 without loss, Derbyshire after 4.
Would it offend you if I hadn't a clue what you just said there?
Absolutely not, Greg. You're far too young for all this nonsense. But he was a big deal, Gary Newman, in the 1980s. Flew his own helicopter. Anyway.
And the rest is history.
Very much history. He's a classically trained pianist, I think. I saw him. There was something on. Anyway, Ollie Stone from the City End. Oh, he's been lifted for 6 by an Aaron Donald first ball. There wasn't anything particularly wrong with the delivery either. It was a sort of length ball, and he's just laced into it.
Didn't even sound like he middled it, and I thought he was going right down the fielder's throat at deep square leg, but it just seems like he's cleared that by 5 or 6 metres over the fielder's head. So, and also as well with this power play and setting the tone, you talk about matchups. You've got Benny Howell probably going to be coming on in the middle overs, and you want your best batters to be facing their best bowlers. So you want the likes of Madsen and Montgomery, who are slightly opposite in style.
Stone comes into bowl to Donald. This one's come off the edge and gone away. 1 bounce for 4 down to third man. Another one.
I reckon they'll learn where to put the fielders after the wagon wheel and where they're hitting it.
I know he's hit 2 6s out to the mid-wicket boundary, but having 2 players out there seems a bit of a waste. You have a man down at third man, they'd have probably got 3 wickets by now.
Extraordinary play this is. I've never seen anything like this before.
I don't think I have either. They're just, either the ball's doing something or they're just not quite getting to it, the batters. But either way, Derbyshire have moved on to 55 without loss. And a remarkable start here. We're in the 5th over. Stone in and bowls, and this one's been lifted out into the leg side. Is the fielder going to get round to make the catch? No, he's not. It's 6 more. Hassan Adnan immediately signals to Simon Widdop, who's standing at the City end, that that's 6 out to cow corner. 2 sixes in the over to go along with the 4, and already it's a very good over for Derbyshire.
And is this the momentum that they've taken from Grace Road into this power play and into their batting performance?
I'm not going to get too excited yet, because against Yorkshire they were batting pretty much like this. Anderson made 81, 39 from Montgomery, 20 from Julie, made 194, which is the lowest score they've made so far this season, remarkably. A stone is in, and this one is driven along the ground out towards point, and that's 4 more. 6-4, 6-4, thank you very much. 20 off the over so far, with 2 balls to come. Ollie Stone's not having a very good time of it at the moment. Did I mention he played for England?
You did.
Thank you. Crowd thoroughly enjoying it. There are 1 or 2 seats down at the far end of the seat unique stand, the old permanent temporary stand at the far end of the ground, but there aren't too many seats to be had inside the Central Co-op County Ground this evening, which is great to see on a beautiful evening here in Derby. Derbyshire 65 without loss. Donald on 48. Stone is into bowl to him, and he's going to get to his half century with a huge 6 out to backward point and into the groundsman's hut. It's a half century, the first of the season for Aneurin Donald. What a shot that is, by the way. And he moves to 54, and Derbyshire are absolutely flying.
What a great start. When Dave Fletcher's got a smile on your face, Derbyshire must be doing something well. But great tone setter for Derbyshire. And hopefully they can take this on into the middle overs. But I think whenever you see Donald get a 50, if it's not less than 13 balls, you're a bit not too happy.
Must be among his slower half centuries, I would have thought, for Derbyshire. But
even though we joke about it there, I think he's played very smart cricket there. He hasn't, even though the timing's been off a little bit, and he's chanced his arm a bit.
71 without loss. Stone is in. This one 6 more out towards the square leg boundary, and that one almost reaches the advertising boards. That is as big as anything we've seen so far tonight, and that is a salutary lesson for an England bowler. Pennington has been absolutely taken apart by Aneurin Donald in that over. That is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. There's still 1 over of the power play to go, and Derbyshire have already surpassed what they scored in the power play at Grace Road. They're 77 without loss, and Aneurin Donald is 60 off 21.
It's a pleasure to watch this. Normally when Nottingham are here, or we're playing against Nottingham a few years ago, we'd always be on the other side, really. So it's nice to sort of set the tone here. 32 off the last over from
32
Ollie
off
Stone.
the over. It must be amongst the most expensive overs in T20 Blast history, I would have thought, but we'll get back to that a little bit later on. Muhammad Ali bowls Yorker, and it's dug out by Martin Anderson, who stood and watched that previous over from Ollie Pennington. He clips it away down to fine leg for 4 more. They could get close to 100 in the power play here, which would almost certainly, without having any knowledge, be Derbyshire's biggest power play in T20 history.
And the bowlers looking round, even the international experience here, looking around the field and just thinking, where am I going to bowl? Just seems like whatever they do, any variations that they have, it just seems like it's being met with the middle or even the edge, and still going to the boundary.
That was a good delivery. Yorker length. Yeah, it might have been on leg stump, but it was a good Yorker. Went for 4, 81 without loss. Muhammad Ali is in again to bowl to Martin Anderson. It's outside the off stump, and he finds the man at point. And I think that's called a dot ball. But I've almost forgotten what one of those is. Absolutely astonishing so far from Derbyshire, who with 4 balls of the power play remaining are 81 without loss. Yeah, 81.
You'd wanted to get here early, wouldn't you, to see this?
Oh, if you've missed it, I can only sympathise. Where have you been? You didn't think it was a 7 o'clock start, surely. No. Derbyshire have certainly at home never scored this many runs before 7 o'clock. I think we can safely say that. Here is Muhammad Ali into bowl to Martin Anderson, who's played and missed at one. That one might just have jagged back a touch. It seemed to go in between him and his bat.
It seems like he's just had a word with him there as well. Just walk, if you look at the highlights here, just walk down and had a little word at him. I don't know what legs he's got to be standing on.
To the scoreboard, wouldn't it? Is that not what batter would do in these circumstances? You've been chirped by a bowler whose team's gone for 81 in 5.5 overs. I think you just say, have a look over there, son. I might only have got 20 in a partnership of 81, but the guy at the other end's going all right. 60 off 21. And Aaron Donald didn't quite make his half century at Grace Road, but there's more than made up for that today. As Muhammad Ali bowls, that one's whipped away into the leg side. I think they'll just settle for a single. They do. Anderson moves to 21 off 13, 82 without loss, with 2 balls of the power play still remaining.
And when do you say, Fletch, that he's made the right call at the toss?
I think he's made it. I think we're there. I think we're there. He obviously knew how many balls were going to go off the edge and down to third man for 4 runs, because I reckon they must have got the thick end of 24 runs down to third man. But when the field is up, there's not a lot you can do about it. That third man is very fine, much finer than you'd normally see. As Muhammad Ali comes into bowl to an Aaron Donald, who's tried to lift him into next week and missed it. He's gone through to the keeper. I don't think he said anything to an Aaron.
No. I feel like he's picked his battles with probably one of the quietest blokes that Derbyshire have. I don't know Martin too well, but seems like quite a quiet person.
Well, he's quiet when he's being interviewed, so goodness knows what he's like when he's batting. Just gets on with his job. I'm sure we'll see him bowl later on after that incredible performance at Grace Road with 6 for 23. They weren't in trouble when he came on, but just some nasty thoughts starting to creep into various minds. 82 without loss. Muhammad Ali bowls to Aaron Donald. It's a full toss and he can't get it away. And it turns into a very good delivery. The power play comes to an end at 82 without loss. Remarkable.
You don't normally say that, do you, Dave?
I've never said it. I'm fairly sure I have never said it.
And what do you reckon Mickey's thinking now and the team are thinking in the dugout after such a destructive power play?
After this 70 odd that they got, I did look it up and then I've completely forgotten it. The power play at Grace Road on Wednesday night, they made 78 without loss. So four more. I said that they were on for 200. They weren't. They were on for 240 at the halfway stage, and they went on to get 230. So Benny Howell, first over out of the power play with one of his many variations, bowls to Martin Anderson, who tries to scoop him. He picks up a leg by. No,
came off the outside edge of his bat again.
His bat, thank you. Yeah, I thought the umpire had a pre-signal going on there. It was just the way he was walking. Simon Widdop.
I think Martin's done really well. He got off strike. Sometimes when it's not your night or you're not picking up the pace, but your other partner is. It's all about trying to get off strike and get.
Howell in, full delivery, misses everything, goes down to the boundary for 4 byes. I fancy, unless it just caught the pads, it just caught the pad. It's 4 byes, they'll take them any way they come, really. It doesn't matter. And Aaron Donald can do without a boundary here and there, given how many runs he's already scored, 60. 4 more to the Derbyshire total. And then we want to 87.
And sometimes in these situations, Fletch, when his team is flying, do you change the order? Do you bring in somebody who can really keep this momentum going?
Yes. But I'm not a coach. That's a good ball from Howell. It's played straight back to him. You're right. I mean, on Wednesday night, they sent in, bless him, they sent in Ross Whiteley ahead of Montgomery, who's out first ball. So it didn't make a huge amount of difference. It can work. On occasion, it can not work as well. I think the scoreboard stopped working. I'm sure it's 87 without loss. As this one is, thumped into the leg side. Has he got enough of it? There's 2 fielders running together and neither of them get there. It goes for 6. They almost ran into each other down there on the cow corner boundary. That could have been very, very unpleasant indeed. It turned out not to be. It went for 6.
You always grit your teeth when you'd see two fielders flying, going full pace to each other, but luckily they...
It didn't look like either of them knew. They didn't miss each other by much. I'll tell you what, that could have been very unpleasant indeed. It's 89 without loss now in the 7th over. Howell is in. Donald is, oh, that's enormous. That might clear into the car park. Oh, it has. Watch out, everybody. Over the ice cream van. And another 6 for an Iron Donald. This is absolutely remarkable.
They wouldn't be expecting that queuing up to get a Mr. Whippy by the ice cream, would they? Just the ball flying over their head.
They're looking for a 99. Donald's looking for a century. Thank you very much indeed. Back to the studio. And I didn't even have that written down there, Colty.
It's like I teed you up there.
Just watch and learn, son. Watch and learn. Oh dear. I should have kept it for later, really, but there might not be a later. You never know. Somebody had to go scrambling underneath the ice cream van for the ball there. 95 without loss. Howell is in again, and this time he's played it straight back down the ground. That's going to have the legs to go for 4 as well, is it? Yes, it is. Of course it is. 76 to Donald. 99 without loss. Derbyshire with 1. No, that is the end of the. Have they bowled a ball short now? What's going on with the scorers next door? What is going on with the scorers next door?
It's all cracking off here. It's the heat. It's the heat, Dave.
1, 2, 3. Well, they've got a ball short on the score, but they're just going to put it down to experience. And it's gone up to 103 without loss. Is that right? Yes, I thought they'd missed something off before. They've missed a 4 off, 103, 21 off the over, 107, it keeps going up. 107, so 25 off the over, is that right? Seems a lot. I think we'll take a rain check on that. It's come back, no, it stayed at 107. As a new over begins from George Linder, and they pick up a single off the first ball.
Just seems like the Nottinghamshire bowlers haven't a clue what to do.
They're a bit like the scorers. What have we gone to? We've gone to now. So yeah, so it was 103. That means there were 21 runs off that Benny Howell over. That makes sense. 103. No, it's gone down to 98 now. Come on, James, sort it out. Linda, we'll go back to the score in a minute. Linda in and bowls. This one's been launched into the leg side. I think he's going to be caught here, or is it going to drop safe? Oh, he's got away with it. It's dropped safe. They're coming back for a second. He might be run out here as well, and then the bowler misses it, takes the bails off without the ball in his hands as Martin Anderson gets back. And Derbyshire moved to 106, possibly without loss. So no idea how many runs there were off that previous over. 24-5. 25.
Seems very bizarre there. I don't know whether there was a miscommunication between long on and cow corner there, but it seems like it was very catchable, that ball, and
yes, nobody went for it.
No.
I thought it was going to land. Linda bowls. This one's coming towards us. It's gone for 6. Get ready. There it goes, smashing into the side screen below us. 6 more. It's at least 112 without loss. It could be more. It could be fewer. It could be fewer if it was at least 112. But this is a remarkable onslaught. A remarkable onslaught for Derbyshire.
If Donald's out in the next couple of overs, do you bring in Whiteley? Similar sort of.
I think Caleb Jewell possibly. I think Caleb Jewell still, because he's an explosive opener, isn't he? Plenty of big bash experience as well. Donald on 84. And now then, he's played that out into the leg side. I think he is going to be out this time, and he is out this time. And what an innings that has been from an Iron Donald. 84 off 31 deliveries. He's got Derbyshire up to 112. 112 for 1. But what an innings from the skipper.
Absolutely. Stood at the front, and also as well have put Derbyshire in a really strong position.
Absolutely astonishing. And the Nottinghamshire celebrations were rather muted. It is Caleb Jewell who's come out to bat. And Aaron Donald, whose mum and dad are in the ground today, he was telling me. So Jocelyn and Andrew watching as their boy scores 84. Absolutely superb. And it's his highest. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Oh, his highest score was 85. His highest score in T20 cricket was 85. What's he doing?
Do you think he would have known that, Fletch?
I think he would have known, yes. I think they tend to know these things, don't they, cricketers? For whatever reason.
Counting to 5's normally a good one that a batter has, wanting to try and get on strike for the next over, but what a phenomenal tone setter that was to the game.
Let's have a quick look at Derbyshire's highest first innings, first wicket stands against Nottinghamshire, and it's beaten Chesney Hughes and Wes Durston's 98 back in 2013. Caleb Jewell then into about the left-handed Australian. First ball, it guides out into the offside. It beats the man at extra cover. There'll be two here as Anderson calls Jewell back for the second. Just for completeness, it was Freddie McCann with the comfortable catch in the end out at Cow Corner to dismiss an Iron Donald. George Linder, the bowler, of course, in his second over, 1 for 26 with one ball to go of his second over. And Jewell off the mark straight away. Goes back, guides it into the offside, straight to the man at extra cover, and the over comes to an end. A successful over of sorts for Nottinghamshire. They concede 11 more runs, but they take the wicket of an Iron Donald, who has lit up the county ground this evening. I can already hear Dominic Dietrich asking me why he didn't go on and make 100. That isn't what he's there for, Dom. That's my only answer. Freddie giving out some t-shirts. I will let you into a secret. I know who Freddie is tonight. I do know who Freddie is. I mean, obviously it's Freddie, but there he is, throwing some t-shirts into the crowd. Benny Howell from the City end bowling to Martin Anderson, who drives down the ground. He's only going to get a single for this. And Derbyshire will move on to 115 for 1.
And when a team gets off to a flyer like this, the batters that are coming in, they can take a little bit of time to get in. It seems like it's a wicket that it's quite difficult to get the pace and the sun and everything like that. So it just eases. You can just ease into your innings here without having to get off to a flyer.
The applause in the background is an Iron Donald just making his way into the changing rooms in the pavilion, as this one is on the hip of Caleb Jewell, and he can't get it away. And then he goes up the steps. Listen to the applause for somebody who was out about 5 minutes ago. He goes up the steps for a quiet lie down in a dark room after making 84 off 31 deliveries. Quite remarkable hitting from an Iron Donald. We should never be surprised by what he does. Howell in, and that one is attempting to pull it into the leg side. It's a slog sweep, and Howell goes for the appeal, but umpire Simon Widdop having none of it. He hit 7 4s and 8 6s in that innings of 84. It's not bad. There's Caleb Jewell. He's trying to hit that too hard, I think. Goes off the inside half of his bat out into the leg side, where it's going to be fielded by Joe Clark, the Nottinghamshire skipper.
And Nottinghamshire now want to try and get through as many overs as quick as possible. Howell trying to get through his overs, damage limitations as best as possible. Donald out now, so trying to really shut the scoreboard right down.
Anderson playing a miss. Too close to him to try and cut. Howell with one of his many variations. He's only faced 17 balls, Martin Anderson, in that entire partnership of 112. He faced 16 deliveries. He didn't manage to score 24 runs in that. As Howell is in again, and Anderson's got hold of this one. It's gone out to deep backward square leg and cleared the boundary. That's 6. It's going to be signalled 6 now by the umpire. There we go. Hassan Adnan having a word with one of the Nottinghamshire players. I have no idea what that was all about. But Benny Howell's over ends with the ball going over the rope, and Derbyshire continue to march on. 9 overs gone now, and if the scoreboard ever comes back, 122 for 1.
Even though Anderson hasn't faced too many balls, that won't faze him. He knows that he can be destructive. He can turn it on and turn it back off. So I think now they just need to keep rotating it. They're both good enough to find that boundary ball.
Freddie McCann is coming on to bowl. Good luck, Fred. Over number 10, bowls to Caleb Jewell, right in the block hole. And Jewell can do nothing with that one. 120 for 1 at the end of the first 10 overs on Wednesday night. Jewell goes for the big heave into the leg side, foots into the pad, he misses it, and they get through for a leg by, do they? No, must have got inside edge on that. Nothing from Hassan Adnan. So duel onto 4, 123 for 1. There have been games I've seen Derbyshire not score this many in 20 overs, quite frankly. Anderson just chops that into the offside, straight to a fielder though. And no run there. Joe Clark will have a big job on his hands when he opens the batting with George Munsey. He's in again. That was a little flick over the wicketkeeper's head by Martin Anderson. That's beautiful. Down towards a very fine leg for 4. He moves on to 34 now with his 4th 4. He's got a couple of 6s to go along with that as well. That was delightful from Martin Anderson. Just the whole crowd just watching it again on the big screen away to our right-hand side. And away it goes. Down to the boundary. McCann's in again. 127 for 1, moves to 128 for 1. Are they going to come back for the second? No, they're not. That ball barely cleared the 30-yard circle.
And it's refreshing to see that somebody like Anderson, who a couple of seasons ago you wouldn't say he'll be opening the batting in T20, is really taken his chance at the top of the order and done a sterling job.
Jewell plays the ball straight to extra cover, 128, so 6 runs off the over, a couple of quiet ones, 128 for 1 at the halfway stage here. Derbyshire, he did have a little spell down at Middlesex where he was opening the batting, but of course Middlesex, along with Derbyshire, statistically the 2 worst T20 teams in the history of the competition. Everybody's waiting for the big Derbyshire-Middlesex matchup to finally decide once and for all who's the worst team over the years. Well, I think if they played each other at the moment, I think Middlesex would take that trophy quite comfortably. Benny Howell to bowl over number 11 from the city end. He's just launched straight back over his head by Martin Anderson for 6. Well, he barely seemed to touch that.
It just shows how important being in form is. It just seems like he's throwing his hands through the ball and just oozing in confidence here. Even against one of the greatest white ball bowlers there is domestically, also travelled around the world and played in several.
What's all he does now, isn't it? Just travels around the world earning money playing T20 cricket. He hides the ball from the bowler, and this time it actually does fool Martin Anderson because he can't do anything with it, and he pushes it out into the offside. There's no run. But you're right. He's one of the great practitioners, isn't he? Always in demand, Benny Howell. It's a bit like Novak Djokovic, I always think. 134 for 1, bowls to Anderson, who's trapped in front as he knows, says umpire Widdup. Benny Howell can't quite believe it. They go through 4, a leg by.
Looked fairly close, that did.
Didn't look far away, did it? I wonder if Phoebe's going to press that replay button in the production, in the director's box. No, she's not. Fair enough, Phoebes. Somebody give her a nudge. I think she's dropped off. 135 for 1. I'll get into trouble for saying that. Howell around the wicket to Jewell, who's lifted it into the leg side now. Then he might be in trouble here. He is in trouble and he's been caught. Out on the cow corner boundary again. That's where the ball went, and Caleb Jewell departs for 4. Derbyshire lose their 2nd wicket. The score on 135 as Wayne Madsen comes out to bat. Disappointing end for Caleb.
Just didn't look like he got going at all, and maybe that's just the nature of the pitch. Also as well, when you're coming in after the power play, the fielders are out. It's a lot harder to try and force the ball as well, and especially against somebody like Howell. Very difficult to throw your hands through the ball because of the variations that he's got. So, but Derbyshire is still in a very solid position and is still at the front foot of this game.
Matthew Montgomery must be itching to get out there against his former club, and it's Wayne Madsen, Mr. Derbyshire, who's come out to bat now. He's had a quiet tournament, really, by his standards. Just 42 runs, high score of 22 from 17 at Grace Road on Wednesday night.
I'm sure of all the Nottinghamshire teams that he's faced, this is probably one of the weakest that he's faced over the years.
Not for me to say, Greg, of course, but I think you're absolutely right. It doesn't strike fear into the heart, like many Nottinghamshire sides have over the years, but long way to go yet. Benny Howlin bowls to Madsen, who forces it off the back foot, straight to the man at extra cover, and there's no run.
You sometimes as well, because of all the variations, and he'll probably bowl on the slower side, you really try and force it, which he wants you to do.
Well, just put a man ready for the reverse sweep, I fancy. There's nobody on the leg side. That's where he wants Wayne Madsen to hit it, and that's where Wayne Madsen hits it. They've run the first one quickly. There won't be a second. Madsen off the mark, 136 for 2 at the end of the over. So again, 8 runs off that over and the wicket. But there are still 9 overs to go, and Derbyshire are 136 for 2 and in a very good position as Joe Pocklington, named after my school. That was your cue to say, did you go to school at Joe there? But you missed your chance.
I wasn't going to bite.
Guy Willett was my headmaster. Guy Willett, the former Derbyshire player, captain, secretary, chairman, president, was my headmaster, and I had no idea when we went to school that he'd done all those things here at Derbyshire. Pocklington in and bowls, and back goes Madsen, pushes the ball straight back to him. Bowling in the sunnies.
How many balls do you reckon until Wayne
reverses him? Not many. Left armour in, and he's driven it just to the right of the man at extra cover. He's going to get 4 for it. It didn't miss him by much, though. There was a fielder running around the boundary. Ollie Stone couldn't get there. Ollie Stone's still thinking about that over that he bowled, I fancy, when he was hit for 32. They're going to be thinking about that tomorrow when he wakes up as well. He might even wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it if Nottinghamshire lose this one. First boundary to Wayne Madsen. He moves on to 5, and Derbyshire to 140 for 2. Pocklington in, full delivery, driven down the ground. There isn't a fielder straight down the ground. He's got 4 more. Well, Wayne Madsen knows where the fielders aren't, which is always the key, isn't it? Munsey down below us was at quite a wide long on and got nowhere near it. Another boundary for Madsen. Derbyshire now up to 144 for 2. Pocklington's in. Madsen drives him out into the offside. One bounce. Stone is there. Fields it. He's coming back for the second. Is Martin Anderson. He'll get back comfortably. And Madsen into double figures. He's on to 11. 146 for 2. Stone did well there to keep his eye on the ball. He was on the ground by the time he fielded it. We're only in the 12th over, by the way, as this one is driven down the ground. Again, it's Stone. It'll just be a single this time. Madsen up to 12, 147 for 2 with 1 ball of Pocklington's first over to go. Madsen's already just pinched 11 runs off it nice and quietly.
He's probably bowling at one of the best players of spin in the whole of the country here, so tough going for him.
And he's come on to bowl in the 12th over. He hadn't bowled prior to this as Anderson pushes it out into the offside. That's a nice bit of fielding by Joe Clark. And it's a dot ball. 11 off the over then. 147 for 2 at the end of 12 overs.
I was surprised that that Freddie McCann didn't get another bowl. Looks like he was probably Nottinghamshire's most economical bowler at the moment, and he seems like he only went for 6 off his last, so
we're going to bowl Benny Howell out here. He's gone for 32 runs from his first 3 overs. Did take the wicket though of Caleb Jewell, caught by Jack Haynes out in the deep. Here comes Howell to Madsen, who, how had he not been bowled by that? Took a horrible swipe at it. It's missed his off stump. I'm not sure how. And then thudded into the pads of keeper Moores.
I wouldn't like to be a fielder on that deep square leg and leg side boundary with the low sun and the outfield.
Howell in. Madsen goes for the reverse. He gets hold of it as well. He's going to get 4 for it. Is he up? The fielder coming round the boundary can't get there. Out towards the marquee to our right-hand side. 4 more to Wayne Madsen. That's his third boundary. He moves on to 16. And Derbyshire's 150 is at 151.42. The 150 didn't come up at Grace Road until the 15th over, and they went on to make 230.
What do you think par is here, Dave, with this fantastic start?
About 400, I would have thought. Howell is into Madsen. He just taps that into the leg side. They run the first one quickly. They're going to come back for the second. Now Martin Anderson says, don't worry, Wayne, rest your legs. We'll just take a single. He moves to 17. Madsen now 152 for 2. I think 200 is now almost essential in any game of T20 cricket at this level. I just don't. I mean, Derbyshire have lost, scoring 197 and 194, which even 5 years ago was almost unthinkable. As Howell is in to Anderson, it just crashes that into the offside. I don't think it's got the legs to go for 4, or has it? No, not quite. There's a good piece of fielding down there on the boundary by Jack Haynes. He gets the ball in quickly. 2 more though to Anderson, who moves to 43 now, 154 for 2.
I think with the bowlers that Derbyshire got now, they really need to put a plan together about how to actually go about bowling. It looks like it is tough. It's tough naturally in T20 cricket, but I hope they have a plan and they're talking with the bowling coach about how they're going to go about this power play.
Face-off has been a little bit easier, harder to get away, hasn't it? As that one is chopped away backward, a square on the offside. Anderson wants 2 and he comes back for the second and gets there comfortably to move to 45, 156 for 2. So which is where Martin Anderson will come in. Because the best one in the world. He's not a pace bowler by any manner of means. He's going to need to lie down tomorrow because they've got to go again on Sunday at Chelmsford. He won't get much of a lie down unless he bags the back seat of the bus tomorrow, I don't think. As Howell comes in to complete his 4th and final over, that's chopped into the ground by Martin Anderson, so he doesn't get a run for that. 156 for 2 at the end of the over. 9 runs from that one. Benny Howell finishes with 4 overs, 1 for 41, which, given that Derbyshire are going at 12 and over with the bat, is not a bad effort.
No, he's done all right there. But I think nowadays in T20 cricket, if you go in below 8s and 7s, you've done a good job now. You really have. I think a few years ago, if you could try and get below 6s, you've done a good job. But it just seems like it's moving more and more towards being a batter-friendly format. And the margin for errors are so slim now. But teams are comfortable chasing 200 now.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
I think Derbyshire have probably got that in the back of their mind, knowing how easy it can be. It's one thing saying it, it's another thing doing it. But
No, I know what you're saying, though, yeah. They will not fear chasing 200. Dylan Pennington is back, this time for the racecourse end. And it's slapped out into the offside by Wayne Madsen for a single. He moves on to 18 off 11 deliveries, 157 for 2. I'm not getting as many messages as I got the other night, strangely enough.
people are in shock with the positiveness.
Stop it. I told you the chief executive likes my new positive outlook. There is Pennington again, bowling to Martin Anderson, who steps into the leg side and then gets hit by the ball. So he's okay. He's just gone for a little walk. I think he hit him in the hip. But it was the back hip, which isn't really protected, is it?
It's never nice. You're hoping that you're getting hit on some fatty muscle or something rather than a bone and something that can...
Can hit me all day long.
One day we're going to get you out in the middle, Fletch.
No,
one day.
Absolutely no chance. Pennington in, helped around the corner by Anderson, but only for a single because they have a man out there. It is Muhammad Ali who does the fielding. 158 for 2 as Anderson now creeps towards a potential half century. Moves on to 46 runs.
That will see 3 consecutive 50s as well if he passes this milestone.
To get grip on that. He's got plenty of time. Madsen on 18 waits as Pennington bowls to him and he just pushes it straight back past him and up to Joe Clark and goes through for a single. He moves on to 19, 159 for 2.
And sometimes in the game of T20, it's all about, the meandering ultimately. You're never always going to have it your way. You've sometimes got to ride the wave, and it seems like they've had a couple of quiet overs here, Notts, but Derbyshire hopefully can dig in, not lose too many wickets, and really set it up for the back end for the likes of Ross Whiteley, Montgomery.
Absolutely. And Amrit Basra, they take a leg by, I think it was a leg by, off that last delivery. 160 for 2. I'd like to say I was giving it my full undivided attention. But even commentators have a lapse in concentration every now and again. Some more than others, unfortunately, for this Pennington. Final ball of his third over, bowls to Madsen, who gets in a bit of a tangle out. I think it was a slower ball bouncer that went down the leg side. He got the under edge of the bat on it. If he'd have missed it, I think it would have been a wide. It wasn't, he didn't. And just 4 runs come off that Dylan Pennington over, which is the best over that Nottinghamshire have had all evening. There was a 5-run over from Muhammad Ali at the final over of the power play. That one now over number 14. 6 overs to go then. 160 for 2. How many are they making?
220 I'll be happy with.
Lovely. I was going for 232. Break the record. Ollie Stone's back. He's got something to prove here. He's got nothing to prove in his career, of course he hasn't, but this evening, having gone for 32 runs in his first over, the onslaught from Aaron Donald, I think he would be rather hoping that Wayne Madsen was facing him rather than Martin Anderson. He's on 47. Anderson, Stone is into him, bangs it in halfway down, and Anderson misses it. I think that is his natural length, though, isn't it? So I think we can expect a few more of those.
It's not going to be in Martin Anderson's slot, I tell you that.
But he has used the edge of his bat quite nicely, and Dylan Pennington's at short third man. He's tall, but he'd have to be exceptionally tall if the ball comes off the edge of Anderson's bat from Ollie Stone, who's in now and bowls, and Anderson swings and misses at that one. That's 2 that he's missed.
Looks like that was a slower ball as well, and the faster you bowl, the harder it is for that to pick up that slower ball as well. So
he's just brought a man in on the edge of the circle at cover, extra cover really. He's got a cover on the boundary and a wide-ish third man as well as a short third man. He's not going to bowl on his legs. Stone comes in, he does bowl on his legs. It's down the leg side and signalled wide. He shouldn't have bowled that one though, should he?
No.
That wasn't planned. 161 for 2. Quiet over though for Derbyshire following the 4-run over from Dylan Pennington.
They've changed the field a lot tonight. I understand there's been Derbyshire are very much on the front foot here, and it seems like if they've set plans, they must be on about plan D or E. But it seems like they're a bit all over the place at the moment with this field setting.
Comes off the inside edge. It goes straight down to Muhammad Ali, who shies at the stumps. They did go through for a single. Madsen called Anderson through. Anderson moves on to 48. I just spotted something on this scorecard, if it's absolutely, which it is right. And Aaron Donald got to 50 in 20 balls, and his next 11 went for 34 before he was dismissed.
It's not bad going, that.
So he was batting at 300 after getting...
Do you think the captaincy's done his form and performance any good, or...?
He was pretty good last year, wasn't he? But I don't think it's done him any harm. Stone bowls to Madsen down the leg side. Did it touch him? No, it didn't. That's a wide. Stone thought it had touched him, or it had gone over the leg stump. Either way, Simon Widdup says that's a wide. Derbyshire pick up another single and move on to 163 for 2 with 3 balls of the 15th over remaining. Just a gentle hum around the ground now rather than the raucousness that was around when Donald was out in the middle. Stone in, bowls to Madsen. That's going to get, well, I was going to say it was going to get caught, but it isn't. It's landed one bounce just inside the boundary because they'd taken the third man out. I thought it was going to go straight down third man's throat because he was there at the start of the over, but he's moved since then. And Madsen picks up his 4th 4.
Just seems like he hasn't got clear plans at the moment. He's bowled a short and wide ball there with short third man and a point very much behind, and with Wayne's ability just to use the pace of the ball, it's flown over
Stone bowls, it's clouted down the ground. It's not going to go for 4 this time. There is a fielder out there. They're only going to get a single. Madsen moves on to 24, 168 for 2. Ollie Stone's run-up has always baffled me. He looks like he's fighting really hard against an extremely strong wind. He sort of leans over to his left. Fine bowler. Not having a good night so far. 40 runs he's gone for in 11 deliveries.
You don't want to keep on bowling extra balls in this heat as well.
Absolutely. He's leaning to the right, actually, not the left, and he bowls to Anderson, who pulls this out into the leg side. Has he got the legs to go for 4? It has, and it's another half century for Martin Anderson. 35 deliveries this one comes off, and he is having the season of his life in T20 cricket. His last 3 innings, as Greg pointed out, 81 not out, 57, and now another half century to go with that. He's on 52 from 35, and Derbyshire 172 for 2 at the end of the over.
Whose decision do you reckon it would have been to stick him at the top? Do they need to buy a lottery card sometime soon?
It's been inspired, hasn't it? Inspired. They might have thought, hang on a minute, what have we done here when they played against Durham and one got 19 and one got 18, but since then, absolutely phenomenal. This from Derbyshire. Who's the next one in line? It's George Linder from the racecourse end, bowling to Wayne Madsen on 24. Linder bowls, he flicks it, and he's going to be caught at short fine leg as he now he's been dropped. Oh, he's been caught. I thought he'd dropped it for a moment there. It's Mohammed Ali who's taken the catch. Madsen with the attempt to flick it, and he disappears with a score on 172. No, yes, 172 for 3 now. Derbyshire. Madsen goes for 24.
It looks like Ross Whiteley's coming out to bat as well now, so sorry, incorrect. Montgomery.
Well, I wouldn't bank on the scoreboard being right. That looks like Ross to me.
He's going to be back there for the Falcons. Make some noise. For 44, Whiteley.
I was right.
Good spot from you. Never go back on what you thought was happening in the first place.
I was just making sure you were watching, Dave.
I wasn't. I seldom am.
Being a left-hander as well, facing a left-arm spinner, he's going to be eyeing up this leg side boundary, bowling into his arc as well. So, and it's also difficult being a bowler, bowling at a left-hander and a right-hander, irrelevant of how experienced you are.
You say that. He was sent in ahead of Montgomery on Wednesday night, promptly got out first ball. So he was caught the ball by Ian Holland. It was a good catch, actually, from old Dutchy. So Linder, who's got 2 for 26 in his 2.1 overs, comes into bowl to Ross Whiteley, who goes back and hits the ball into the offside, and there's no run.
Seems like the outfield hasn't misbehaved too much at the moment.
Well, they've taken the outfield out of the equation for large parts, haven't they, with all the sixes they've been hitting, but not too many balls have gone straight to fielders. Whiteley waits, goes back, and pulls this into the leg side for 4. I thought for a moment it was going to be the flattest of flat sixes, but it isn't. Whiteley's off the mark with a boundary, and they're just carrying on. Somebody's had a quiet word. Ross, just go out there and do what you do. This season, 45 in the first game against Durham, which was a terrific innings. Didn't bat against Yorkshire, wasn't required, although Derbyshire did lose that game, and was out first ball against Leicestershire when he hit the ball very hard, but straight back to the bowler. Ian Holland, 176 for 3 now. He just waits, and that one is lifted down the ground. Has it got the legs to go? My word, of course it has. All the way for 6. That's huge. Out towards the central co-op stand, the new stand away to our left. That was a big hit. Even Freddie got off his chair for that one.
Seems like there was hardly no effort put into that, and it was all timing that.
It's his bat. I reckon it's his bat. I don't think I could lift it up. He's a powerful man, Ross Whiteley. He's on to 10, 182 for 3. We're in the 16th over. Linder in again, and Ross Whiteley has a swing at that one and misses it, not taken cleanly by Tom Moores behind the stumps.
And this is why it's so difficult, and a great idea for Derbyshire to put in Whiteley against this left arm spinner now.
He's got one more ball of him to face, and then I fancy we won't see much more after that. Certainly while Whiteley's out there, Linda is in, and this one is mishit into the leg side, just for a single. Whiteley moves on to 11, 183 for 3 now. 11 runs off that over, so 23 off the last 2.
And Anderson's playing a really good part here. He's just going about his business quietly whilst everyone plays these expansive shots around him and they get in the headlines. But if Derbyshire win tonight and Anderson stays in for a bit longer, it will be down to him and obviously Donald at the top of the order.
I'm not sure I could interview Martin Anderson twice in 2 games, if I'm entirely honest with you, but I'd give it a go, obviously, because it's my job. No, he's great fun. One of my favourites. He knows that.
Who is your favourite Derbyshire player to have ever interviewed?
Ever?
Ever.
Well, I never interviewed you, did I? For some reason.
There was a reason.
I can't think of the reason at all. And you were here when I started. Muhammad Ali's coming back. Give me time to think about that, if you wouldn't mind. Muhammad Ali to bowl to Ross Whiteley, who smashes that one out into the leg side. It's going to fall short of the fielder out there. He picks it up now. They're coming back for the second. Whiteley has to get a bit of a move on, but the ball is being thrown in with the sun straight into Tom Moore's eyes. 2 more to the total, 185 for 3. Wayne Madsen's innings, 24 off 16 with 4 fours.
You know what I find amazing here with the sunlight and how low it is. Hardly any of the Nottinghamshire players are wearing sunglasses.
No, they've got a lot of them perched on top of their heads though, because they're contractually obliged to have them there, aren't they? When they're giving them for nothing. Muhammad Ali into bowl to Ross Whiteley, who heaves this into the leg side just for a single. Possibly Anderson fancies 2. No, get back, Ross. Thank you very much. Just a single taken. He was setting off for the second there, wasn't he?
And it seems like there's a bit more impetus running between the wickets. I don't know whether that's because they had a fantastic game against Leicester and they're taking in that confidence into this game. In the first couple of games, well, the first game especially against Durham, there was just no intensity between the wickets.
No,
it just seems like tonight, granted they're on the front foot, fantastic start and hopefully a good back end now, but really pushing every run.
Ali in again, that's on the legs of Martin Anderson. He manages to turn it around the corner somehow. Does he pick up another single? Yes, he does. He moves on to 53, 187 for 3. Thank you, Mike Hibbs. I said I hadn't had many messages when he sent me one. And he enjoyed my quip about Nye Donald and the ice cream van. So that's very kind of you, Mike. I had to read that one out. I've got a couple more here as well, which I'll get to, hopefully, over the course of this over. That one on an email address that I'm not allowed to give out, but the other 2 are on Derbyshire Cricket at bbc.co.uk, which of course I am allowed to say. Here is Muhammad Ali bowling to Ross Whiteley on 14 off 7, and he tries to hit the cover off the ball there as it goes into the leg side. Anderson calls him back for the second. They'll get back. That's good running from Martin Anderson. He's been out there. If he goes through to the end of the innings, Derbyshire move on to 189 for 3. If he's there at the end of the innings, he will have been on the field for 2 complete T20s.
It's not bad going, that.
No, he'd be exhausted.
He won't be. Fit as a fiddle. He'll be needed with the ball as well tonight, I tell you.
Anthony Irvine's message to me just says, crikey. Yes, Anthony from Hena. He says, P.S. let's hope the power doesn't go out this time. Yeah, we had a power cut in this game last season. As Muhammad Ali's in short delivery, ducks underneath it. Ross Whiteley not signalled as wide, which I think is fair enough. I'm not a big fan of every short ball going over the batter's head being given as wide. And Mark Beecroft Stretton, who I haven't heard from in the T20 Blast so far, but I know he's a member at Notts as well as here. He says it's the game he looks forward to every year, also the one he dreads the most, as one of his teams will lose. One of his teams will win now. He's happy with the way Derbyshire are going. It says, forgive the wicket that falls that my missive will undoubtedly bring. Here comes Muhammad Ali to bowl to Ross Whiteley, and here is the wicket that missive will bring. No, it's dropped short of the fielder. Well, everything is going Derbyshire's way today. He just hit that straight up in the air off the toe end and outside edge of his bat. He moves on to 17. The over comes to an end, 7 from it, at 190 for 3. They've got 3 overs to go, so they're certainly going to get to 200, which is pretty much what I was saying last week. They were 199 for 4 after 18 overs. Then they took 24 off a Ben Mike over, not for the first time. Derbyshire had taken 24 off a Ben Mike over. I think they did something similar at Chesterfield a couple of years ago when he was playing for Yorkshire in that miserable time he had away from Leicestershire, but he's back at his spiritual home now. Pennington, 3 overs for 23. Oh dear, dear, dear. Stop it, Ross Whiteley. He has just clubbed that down the ground, over the rope to our right for 6. In such a dismissive way, it almost isn't true. Derbyshire moved to 196 for 3.
I think we all knew that was coming. 3 overs left now. They've really got to maximise this great score.
We're not going to see a man who's averaging 140 in the competition. Because I wouldn't be at all surprised if Amrit Basra, who made 11 off 3, including a big 6 at Grace Road in the final over, didn't come in ahead of Matthew Montgomery this evening as well, seeing as they are just having a little fiddle around with the middle order. 196 for 3. Pennington goes in and bowls to Whiteley, full delivery, crashes it down the ground, 1 bounce 4. 10 off the first 2 balls, and the 200 comes up for Derbyshire in the second successive match. They've made 197, 194, 230, and now 200 in their 4 innings. They've got power to add this evening, of course. There's nothing wrong with the Derbyshire batting. Pennington on his way into Whiteley, who this time plays it out towards backward point for 4 more. And it's 204 for 6, despite what the scoreboard says. That isn't the 200. Surely it came up with the previous 4. What is going on? What are they doing? This is the one game where you really need to have the scoreboard up to date. And at the moment it's 4 runs behind, I think.
And I think from the last game as well, Leicester knew that they were very much up against it, and hopefully the bowlers are not surprised when Derbyshire bowl.
Pennington
the batters are going to be going very hard at these bowlers tonight, so hopefully they've got some plans in place.
Just a single that time. Yeah, there's a 4 missing. It's 209 for 3. I can't really help them anymore. The hand signals. Pennington on his way in from the racecourse end. Bowls to Anderson, who pulls this out into the leg side. They'll just take a single. 210 for 3. No, it's 210.
It's really getting to you, this scoreboard, isn't it?
Well, it is, because it's wrong, and this is the one form of the game where the scoreboard has to be up to date. Hit 6-4-4. It'll get there in the end, I'm sure.
They've got enough, Fletch.
Well, they might have, but it's definitely 210. Pennington in and bowls. That one is a full-length delivery that Ross Whiteley digs out, pushes it down the ground towards Benny Howler. Doesn't field it cleanly, but they don't come back for another one. Whiteley moves to 33. 211. I'm still not having it. It just doesn't feel right. Where's it's got to be more.
Maybe because there's been so many boundaries, Fletch, it just seems like every ball should be a 4 or a 6.
Well, we'll stick with 207 for 3 then. 17 off that one.
When a batting team's going like this, they need to be going to the Yorkers, and Pennington did that for a couple of balls last over, and it just seems like that is the only way you can bowl on this sort of wicket when the batters are in this sort of form.
Who's coming on now? Mohammed Ali to bowl the penultimate over. From the City end, bowling to Ross Whiteley, who swipes at that one and is caught behind. Well, Mohammed Ali celebrates as though he's just won the game. I'm not sure he has, but he gets a wicket with the first ball of the penultimate over. Ross Whiteley goes for 32 off 15, exactly what was needed. And now it's Matthew Montgomery. Would you have sent Amrit Basru?
I think either or you would have been you would have been happy with. Montgomery can easily finish a game and take the momentum into Derbyshire's fielding.
I'll have to go through and apologise to Jane at half time if that's all right with everybody.
So is the score right now, Fletch?
I've no idea. Jane's looking, she's trying to find the extra 4 runs that I've been papping on about for the last 10 minutes, but she's all right now, sorry. 207 for 4. Matthew Montgomery. Dismissed just once in his first 3 innings this season. Got a couple of centuries last season in the One Day Cup as well. Against his former side, gets off the mark with an inside edge. Good Yorker from Mohammed Ali. Derbyshire moved to 208.
And it just seems like that's the ball that you have to bowl now.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many Derbyshire bowlers have it in their locker though, because the length ball's going to go, isn't it?
I feel like Derbyshire's bowlers are really going to get tested tonight.
I think they're going to get whacked.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say tested, shall we say.
Whacked.
I feel like the scoreboard's got to you now, Fletch.
222 for 5, the highest score Derbyshire made against Nottinghamshire. That was at Trent Bridge in 2017, a game they lost.
You really emphasised that word, didn't you?
I was there. Mohammed Ali comes in and bowls as a swing and a miss from Martin Anderson. And it goes through to Tom Moore's dot ball. Good over this so far from Mohammed Ali.
And this is what you expect from your overseas. Very much.
You don't expect the celebration that he had, though, do you? Come on.
A wicket's a wicket.
Actually, when you look at his bowling figures as well, 1 for 24 from 3.5 overs is exceptional when you look at the rest of the card.
Yeah.
Apart from McCann, who's bowled 1 over, went for 6 and hasn't been seen since. He's the Martin Anderson of Nottinghamshire.
I think we're all expecting Javid to put his hand up tonight in the Derbyshire bowling ranks.
He bowls. This one's been launched out towards the pavilion for 6. Oh, it's got onto the roof of the members' pavilion. You don't see that very often. Oh, who was the big West Indian who played for Nottinghamshire in the 2017, 2018 kind of era? He broke a tile on that roof. And that was about as big a hit as I'd seen at that time. I'm trying to remember his name.
Not Braithwaite?
No. He was one of the big, you know, the big hitting West Indians. Anyway, it'll come to me.
Wasn't as big as this one though. Martin.
Once Colsey's looked it up. 60 not out now, Martin Anderson from 39. 214 for 4 with 8 deliveries to go. Just applause there for Ross Whiteley as he goes up the steps away to our left-hand side. Mohammed Ali's on his way in to bowl to Anderson. A full toss, well fielded off his own bowling. Now that Anderson's gone through for the single, Ali turns and shies at the stumps at the end to which Montgomery was running. He misses the stumps. It was a well-taken single in the end, and it was a good bit of thinking from Mohammed Ali. Andre Russell, that is exactly the man I was trying to think of. Yeah, he put one on top of the pavilion roof, the members' pavilion, that is, and the tile just went.
I think the biggest I saw was Afridi when he played for
don't.
When he was playing for Hampshire
in
down here.
Final. Yeah.
I think he hit one into the gym car park.
Yeah. He's hurt his hand here, Mohammed Ali, by the way, fielding that ball. I'm not surprised because it was struck pretty hard by Martin Anderson, so there'll just be a brief delay. Chris Coles will bring you all the scores from elsewhere in the... I've had time during this Derbyshire innings of 215 for 4. That game against Hampshire in the quarter-final, which was the first quarter-final that I saw, he hadn't opened the batting prior to that match, Afridi. And I can remember a coach called Cork screaming onto the pitch, "Wayne, he's out to take you down, he's out to take you down." Wayne Madsen had opened the bowling in just about every game in that tournament. Wayne Madsen opened the bowling and got absolutely hammered to all parts, and then dropped him at Gully in the second over. Muhammad Ali in and bowls. That one has been slapped by Matthew Montgomery out towards the long on boundary for 4. 219 for 4 now at the end of 19 overs. 12 runs off that one.
Now this is a very bold statement, Fletch. Have Derbyshire batted well, or is the wicket good and this could be a par score?
Well, it's a pitch, but the pitch has played quite nicely, I think. I don't think this is a done deal by any manner of means. I really don't. Because they still have they're not the scariest, and I'll repeat that, and I'm happy to repeat that. They're not the scariest, but Joe Clark, as you mentioned, George Bunsen, Jack Haynes is not bad either. Tom Moores can slap it around a bit. Benny Howell can bat. They've got players who can get this, but the fact that they'll be chasing nearly 12 and over makes it that much tougher, doesn't it, right from the outset? But you wouldn't be at all surprised to see them make a fast start. George Linder bowling the final over from the racecourse end. First ball is heaved into the leg side by Matthew Montgomery. He rather fancies 2 here, and it was Martin Anderson on strike, I beg your pardon. He fancied 2 there, but he wasn't going to get it.
I think Notts have got absolutely nothing to lose as well.
Yes.
So they can really go all guns blazing at the top of the order. But you look at the Derbyshire attack, and the overseas has to take a lead in.
No, he does, and that's what he's here for. He's taken 1 for 34, 1 for 39, and 0 for 32 off 2 overs. The other 2 lots were off 4 overs. So he hasn't been completely awful, but he hasn't been good yet.
You want an overseas. You get an overseas because you want them to be a wicket taker or churning out runs in any competition ultimately, and earn their stripes.
Swing and a miss from Matthew Montgomery at 220 for 4. 4 balls in the innings remain.
Well, he's got a fantastic opportunity in the power play to take some early wickets and really throw some counter punches back to the Nottinghamshire top order.
We've seen what Muhammad Ali's done. He's bowled nicely. Linder is in. This one is down the ground. It's up in the air more than down the ground, though. He's going to get away with it because the fielder doesn't fancy it at all. That's Joe Clark as well. That's not a good example to be showing as the captain of the side. He's got to catch that or make an attempt, hasn't he?
But none of them have got any sunglasses on. Absolutely. I don't know whether it's a style thing or anything like that, but you do the absolute basics.
Yeah. I think that's poor from your leader. 221 for 4 with 3 balls to go. In comes Linder. Down the track comes Anderson and smashes him back over his head and possibly over the media centre, and that doesn't happen very often. It's certainly not come back down. I saw Alex Hughes do that once. Not many people have done it since. That is a magnificent shot from Martin Anderson. We'll get a look on the replay here as to how far it went, hopefully. It has come back now. Perhaps it just, where did it go? I can't see on that. Yeah, it went up there somewhere. I think it's gone onto the balcony just above us. 227 for 4, Derbyshire's highest score against Nottinghamshire in T20 cricket. And Anderson moves on to 68 off 42. 2 balls to go. Linder. Short run up, and he slaps this out into the offside. He's only going to get 1 for this, slightly disappointingly. So Martin Anderson will finish on 69 not out, which won't do his average any harm at all. 3rd successive half century, as we were saying, in the competition for Martin Anderson. 228 for 4 with 1 ball to be bowled, and Matthew Montgomery on 6 from 4. I think he's going to try and clear the rope with this one. Linder is in. He does try and clear the rope, and my word, he's cleared it by some distance as well. That one crashes into the sight screen just to our left. 234 for 4 Derbyshire have finished on. It's their highest score in T20 cricket history. Beating the 231 they scored against Leicestershire. Having scored 230 on Wednesday night. It's absolutely remarkable. Martin Anderson finishes on 69. Matthew Montgomery on 12. The partnership just 27 off 11 balls as it all disappears off our screen in front of us, because it always does. That has been absolutely incredible from Derbyshire, and the bowlers are jogging out with plenty of runs to back them up.
And I don't think there's many teams that have gone back to back and scored in T20 and scored 230 and 236, I believe you said.
234. 234, I think. Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Colesy picked the bones out of that.
Thank you, Fletcher. I think you've just got enough time to nip to the local petrol station and get some flowers and maybe some chocolates for your scorer friends next door.
Yes, yeah. I'm just going to go through and say sorry.
Take your abacus with you. Well, that was great fun. 234 for 4, Derbyshire, as Fletch has said. All sorts of records tumbling there. Derbyshire's highest ever T20 score, their highest against Notts, beating the 222 for 5 they got in 2017 in a losing effort. That was the day that Ricky Vessels went mad and scored 110. Derbyshire coming up just short that night, but in with a real chance with a very competitive score of 234 for 4. I'll run you through the card in a moment and the rest of the scores up and down the country. Greg, before you take just before you disappear, when you look at that batting performance from Derbyshire, and batting has not really been the issue for the Falcons in this T20 Blast competition thus far, but they're in such great rhythm wherever you look, whether it's Nye at the top of the order hitting 84, Martin Anderson with a very handy 69, even though it felt quite slow, it's still 43 deliveries, a very healthy strike rate. This is a competitive score, regardless of who you're playing, where you're playing the competition.
Absolutely, it's an absolute dream, that total is, and I think off the back of the Leicester game, they know exactly what Nottinghamshire batters are going to do now. They're going to come hard, they need to score at a high run rate as well, and that brings Derbyshire's bowlers and fielders into play, because they're going to have to play high risk shots, and if they can really take 2 or 3 wickets in this power play, Derbyshire would be very much on the front foot and favourites.
Well, we won't have too long to wait before we see the Notts response. We'll let you go and get a cup of tea in this interval. Greg Cork alongside Dave Fletcher will bring us the Notts innings in around 10 minutes time. The Derbyshire card looks very, very healthy. It looks very, very good. Started with a blistering 84 from 31 at the top of the order from captain Nye Donald, who won the toss, no hesitation in batting first. 31 balls for his 84, 7 fours and 8 sixes in what was a very strange opening 3 or 4 overs, because the majority of the runs Derbyshire were accumulating were coming off thick outside edges. So many runs coming through the third man region. Then they really found their rhythm, and to get 80 odd without loss from the 6 over power play was very, very impressive, aided by Martin Anderson, who finished unbeaten, 69 not out from 43 deliveries, 5 fours and 5 sixes. The one failure, Caleb Jewell, who never really got going, 9 deliveries he lasted, only made 4 before he was caught on the boundary by Jack Haynes off the bowling of Benny Howell. Wayne Madsen, 24 from 16 before he was caught by Muhammad Ali off the bowling of George Linder. Ross Whiteley blitzing his way to 33 from 16 until he was caught behind off the bowling of Muhammad Ali. And then Matt Montgomery against his former side, smashing a 4 and a 6 in his 12 from 5, leaving Derbyshire 234 for 4. The bowling figures don't make great reading, and particularly not for poor Ollie Stone. None for 44 from his 2, but his first over went for 32. Nye Donald really feasting off the bowling of Ollie Stone. Dylan Pennington, none for 40 from his 4, 2 for 52 George Linder, ending with 1 for 35 from Muhammad Ali's 4 overs. Ollie Stone 0 for 44 from 2. Benny Howell 1 for 41 from his 4, and then just an over apiece for Freddie McCann and Joe Pocklington, and they were pretty good overs as well. 6 runs conceded from Freddie McCann's only over, and 11 off Joe Pocklington. So 235 Notts will need to win this game. Derbyshire in a very strong position to record their 3rd win over Notts in the last 5 games, and to record their 2nd victory of this year's T20 Blast, losing their first 2, beating Leicestershire on Wednesday, and the East Midlands double very much in their sight. Elsewhere in the North Group, Durham need 152 to beat Yorkshire at Chester Street. That's a meeting between the current top 2 in the North Group. Yorkshire 151-49, so Durham just about to start their reply, needing 152. And at Old Trafford, Leicestershire, who are yet to win this season, have gone quite well actually against Lancashire, who are 140-8, and they're in the final over at Old Trafford. There was a rather lengthy delay there to deal with an injury, so they are slightly behind us despite their start at the same time as us at 6:30. Lancashire 144-8 in the final over. The other two divisions, or the two groups, three groups in this year's T20 Blast competition, in the Central and West group, the Derby, New Road, the Pears against the Bears. Worcestershire looking pretty good against Warwickshire, who made 141. They were all out inside the 20th over, and the Rapids in reply are 101 for 2. So they just need 40 more from more or less 7 overs with 8 wickets remaining. So they're in a very good position to win that derby. The Central and West group leaders, Somerset, the defending T20 Blast champions, 171 for 9 they made from their 20 overs. So Glamorgan require 172 to win at Sophia Gardens. And the two unbeaten sides, or two of the unbeaten sides in the Central and West group, Northants and Gloucestershire, are meeting, and Gloucestershire 164 for 9 from their 20 overs, so Northants requiring 165 when they start their replies shortly. And two matches in the South group at Canterbury, Kent 129 for 9 from their 20 overs, Essex just about to begin their reply. And down at the Rose Bowl, Surrey 124 for 4 from their 14 overs so far. That was a 7 o'clock start down in Southampton. So Surrey 124 for 4 with Sam Curran 32 not out, and Laurie Evans there as well, 15 from his 11. That's Surrey top order, absolutely stacked with talent. Roy, Jackson, Pope, and not a bad 3 to open up. They didn't really do much trouble to the scoring. 132 for Jason Roy, Will Jacks 15, and Ollie Pope 8. Sam Curran though 32 not out down at the Rose Bowl. Here at the County Ground, Derbyshire 234 for 4, so 235 required to win for Notts. The Derbyshire bowlers all going through their various warm-ups. We've got the floodlights now that have burst into life above us, even though they're not required. The sky's still very blue overhead, a couple of fluffy white clouds, and the crowds beginning to very much congregate around the bar, the mobile bar to our right, and the Burgers and Fries van as well, doing very good business on what is a very warm evening at the County Ground. The damage done at the top of the order from Aneurin Donald, 84 from his 31, Martin Anderson 69 from 43. All eyes to see whether Martin Anderson can continue his fine form with the ball in his hand following his 6 for 23 from 4 overs at Grace Road, and he's a player full of confidence at the moment. 81 not out against Yorkshire, 57 against Leicestershire, now 69 not out in this game against Notts, and that's 6 for 23 his bowling effort. And you will be amazed if he isn't thrown the ball at some point by Aneurin Donald, who was still pretty coy at the toss with Dave Fletcher about whether he would give his star boy a bowl. It would be quite entertaining if he chucked him in at the start, wouldn't he? Go on Martin, you've taken 6 for 23, you've got 3 big scores, go and open the bowling. Jack Morley opened the bowling on Wednesday. Whether or not we see the same again, wouldn't be too surprised. Dave Fletcher is back alongside. We've got the 2 umpires wandering back out, so play about to resume. The Notts response about to get underway as Nye Donald leads out his team. There's a huddle just in front of the pavilion away to our left. Fletch, Notts really only have one way of playing this, and that's going aggressive from the start. All eyes on the Derbyshire bowling attack, which have been slightly behind the batting efforts this season, but they have a wonderful target in which to defend, and you would hope that that is more than enough for them to record another very good victory over Notts.
Well, if that isn't enough, I don't know where Derbyshire go, really, because they have never scored that many before, so it's going to be tricky, isn't it, to batter that, chasing 235. Just had a quick word with David Griffin. And Aaron Donald's 8 sixes were the most he's hit in a single innings, and the 16 sixes were the most Derbyshire have hit in a single innings in T20 cricket as well. I'm sure those stats will be, there we go. The first one's just popped into the inbox, and the first one is, he's saying that 234 is the highest team total, which of course we knew. It's going to be Jack Morley to bowl the first over. 16 sixes, the most they'd scored, beating the 14 against Yorkshire in 2010. 8 sixes for Aaron Donald in his 84 equals his own Derbyshire record. And the 112-run first wicket partnership record for Derbyshire against Notts, overtaking, as we said, Chesney Hughes and Wes Durston at Nottingham in 2013. So they're the records he's found so far. I'm sure there'll be many, many more to come.
Yeah, it's all set up, you would like to think, for a Derbyshire victory, but it's a funny old game. And with that, I will leave it to you, Greg and Fletch.
Thank you very much. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Jack Morley's first ball is just pushed up by George Munsey, Scotland opener, towards Ross Whiteley for a single. So the Outlaws underway in their response and their chase of 235 to win this one here at the Central Co-op County Ground, with the sun setting, lots of shadows over the pitch now. Still tricky to field out in the leg side, away to our left.
Also as well, Joe Clark in great form. I think he's the leading run scorer in the Division 1 County Championship.
Don't say that, Greg. Goodness me. His first ball is pushed out into the offside. Jack Morley thought he might have got a wicket there, but then again, Jack Morley often thinks he might have got a wicket. He often does.
Confidence sky high as well. Started the competition off really well.
I had a quick show. There's somebody walking up the steps at the far end, very close to the side. Madam, just sit down and we can get on with the rest of the game. Come on.
I do find it fascinating. That sight screen is massive, and it's not like they're playing on the edge of the sight screen, so shouldn't be looking at the crowd, should be watching the ball.
It's Clark been a bit precious, and one without loss. In comes Morley again. Third ball of the over, strikes the pad. There's an appeal. It was going way down the leg side. It's fielded by Ben Aitchison and legged by his signal. The required rate just shy of 12 runs an over from here. Once that gets up to 14, 15, gets a bit tricky. Munsey on strike, reverse sweep, misses it. Thuds into an Aaron Donald's pads. Ben Aitchison warming up. Looks like he's going to take the first over from the racecourse end.
And it'll be interesting to see how well Derbyshire field tonight. Their intensity, throwing themselves around.
Morley bowls. That one is clipped into the leg side by Munsey, out towards Amrit Bajwa, the quickest man in the Derbyshire ranks, who gets there really quickly. Clean pickup as well, and throws the ball in. Single taken, 3 without loss, with 1 ball of the first over to go.
A great start from Jack Morley here, really setting the tone for Derbyshire's bowling.
The lights are on. Those that work are anyway. Morley in, and that one is just turned straight to the man at backward square leg. Caleb Jewell, the first over comes to an end. 3 from it. Excellent start for Jack Morley. 3 without loss. Nottinghamshire after 1 over. They only need another 232 to win. A really good start for Jack Morley. He's going to be Ben Aitchison from the racecourse. And this is the interesting one for me, because he is a red ball bowler, Ben Aitchison, who's not forced into playing T20 cricket, because nobody's forced to do anything. But with those bowlers that we mentioned before the match, he would have been a long way down that list. He's bowled beautifully this season so far. 2 for 7 from 2 overs at Grace Road as well, but he doesn't have the many variations that some T20 bowlers have. He's going to be bowling to George Munsey first off, and Munsey guides that down towards third man. Nice stop on the edge of the circle by Caleb Jewell, and they go through for a single, 4 without loss.
He wouldn't be turning down an East Midlands Derby T20 match with the weather like this, and Derbyshire putting on 234.
They've got enough runs to defend, haven't they, really? I think that's the first point we should make.
Who would you bring in for Aitchison? Would it be a Zach Chappell for you, Fletch?
Yeah, possibly. He bowls now, and that one's slapped out into the offside. There is a fielder out there. 1 bounce, 2, and it goes into the hands. Somebody who looks a bit like Nick Potts. It is Nick Potts with the elbow protectors. I think he, with the greatest of respect, I think Potts is most vulnerable to a returning Zach Chappell rather than Ben Aitchison, just because he's
Would it be a straight swap, or is that a bit harsh on Nick Potts? I don't think he's bowled too badly.
No, he doesn't bowl badly. I just think that they get a team in their mind, don't they? As Aitchison is in, Clark pushes it out. It'll be Potts again. Potts is a very good fielder, by the way. He's not a bad bowler either. Look at that arm. How did he throw it that far? 7 without loss now, 3 each to Muncie and Clark. Already miles behind Douglas Lewis. I won't go on about that. I won't go on about anything really. I'm very wary of saying anything that might come back to bite me at some point. When Madsen goes on the edge of the circle at extra cover. Aitchison is in. That one is slapped over Madsen's head. He tried to leap and get there, but he was never going to make it. And he goes away for the first boundary of the innings. George Muncie moves on to 7-11 without loss.
I think even with a score like this, I don't think it will faze them too much. They probably won't need to go as hard as we all think they should, even though Donald did at the top of the order. I think if they can, they've got good depth, they've got good experience. They probably needed to get a little bit of time out there to get used to the pitch and the pace and the light and everything like that, and then they can really earn the right to start whacking it.
It's just balls. He cuts it out into the offside, out towards Basra, who's going from one side of the field to the other at the moment. Certainly in the first 2 overs. 8 to Muncie, 3 to Clark, 12 without loss. 9 off the over so far. Final ball needs to get out of the over without any further major damage here. Ben Aitchison comes into bowl 2. Joe Clark, who turns it into the leg side. Jack Morley goes racing after it. Single is taken. 10 off the over. 13 without loss after 2. He'd be relatively pleased, I think. 10 and over. It's probably all right. George Linder bowled the second over for Nottinghamshire and went for 15. So, same stage. Derbyshire were 22 without loss. Here we go. This is possibly the game here. I think I'm fairly safe in putting pressure on him because he doesn't speak a word of English. Unless Yusuf bin Naeem, who is the man who's been communicating with him, dobs me in, I'm fairly safe here.
And from your overseas, you need him to win a handful of games for you. Obviously, he hasn't started off too well, but he's got a fantastic opportunity here to really put his name out there in the headlines.
He's in bowls. That one strikes the pad, bounces out backward square on the offside for a leg by. Caleb Jewell does the fielding. Eventually, Simon Widdop signals leg by.
It's not a bad start as well, and you can really sense a bowling team that have got some confidence in their legs, especially after the past game at Leicester.
I think Drew might be right here, but let's go back over the entire innings. Javed in and bowls. That's a short of a length delivery. It's pulled into the leg side by Muncie. He's not timed it at all, though. And they'll get through for a single. 15 without loss. There's some heavily refreshed supporters. I was going to use the word singing, but I think I'll refrain from using the word singing. Somewhere in the near vicinity. 15 without loss now. Just 1 off the bat so far. The bowling of Akif Javed as he comes into bowl. That's again short of a length. That seems to be his stock delivery out to Nick Potts at the backward square leg. Not timed once again, this time by Clark. He moves on to 5, 16 without loss. Required rate already up to 12 and a half. Will continue to climb as long as they don't score 12 in an over.
I don't think that will scare batters now. The thing that's going to kill the game is the wickets. The run rate's fine for them. They're confident they can hit 2 maximums in 1 over anyway.
Javed's in again. Bowl, swing and a miss from Muncie. That was a sharp delivery from Akif Javed.
Just seems like he's finding his form here. This is what Mickey brought him in for.
You predicted it. Credit where it's due. Griff's found another stat. Unsurprisingly, perhaps. And it's a good one, which I'll give you after this delivery from Akif Javed. 2 balls left of his first over. Muncie on strike on 9, and this one is driven, but straight to the man at mid-off, and there's no run. Ross Whiteley there. The ball he's got it in his left hand, that's the only clue I've got. And Aaron Donald's 32 runs off the over of Ollie Stone equals Derbyshire's record for the most runs off an over in any format of the game. The record was originally set by Wayne Madsen and Leas Deploy, who both scored 32 runs off Dwan, who scored 32 runs off Dwan Olifia at Headingley in 2019. I remember that vividly. Poor old Dwan. 16 with Outlaws. Javed is in, bowl short of a length, and it's cut away down to third man for 4 runs. He has his hands on his hips. He's disappointed. His over goes for 7. 20 without loss after 3. Nye faced 6 deliveries. Madsen and Deploy faced 9 in total and got 32 runs off the over, which is a remarkable effort.
It's not bad going, that. I think just going off that previous over as well, you try so hard when you've had a quiet over, you try so hard for that last ball to be a quiet one, but it always seems like the harder you try, it just seems like it gets to the boundary a lot quicker.
Ben Aitchison with the second over. That one's crashed out into the offside. Nicely fielded by Montgomery. Got his body right behind that one and had to. Fielding just on the edge of the square. Never an easy place to field.
And unfortunately, that's what you've got to do in this on this sort of outfield. You've got to get your body in there, even if it hits you. Just get something behind it. Show that intensity, because it makes a big difference to the bowler.
And again goes Aitchison. This one's... well, we've seen plenty of those in the Derbyshire innings, so we can't really begrudge Nottinghamshire a couple. He went for the drive. It came off a thick outside edge and went down to third man for 4 runs. We did see a lot of those. It's not something that David Griffin would keep a record of, but I would love to know if it's the most runs down to third man in an innings.
The wagon wheel will be very fascinating. But boundaries are boundaries, and Notts need a lot more.
24 without loss. This one's played straight into the ground. It bounces over the head of Ben Aitchison. The crowd go ooh, despite the fact that he clearly hit it into the ground. Didn't he?
That was a bump ball.
Bump ball of epic proportions, because he actually smashed it into the ground. That's why it got over the head of Ben Aitchison. It goes down as a dot, though. 24 without loss halfway through the 4th over.
We like the optimism, though, from the crowd.
Aitchison goes in again. That's a good delivery. It's caught behind. It's a better delivery than I thought. Clark actually got a little tickle on it. It goes through to an Aaron Donald. Ben Aitchison picks up a wicket, and Notts in pursuit of 235, but 24 for 1.
Just seems like he threw his hands at that and didn't really get into the ball as well. Aitchison's bowled really well at the start of the over here, and has picked up the big wicket and the captain, Joe Clark.
Well. Can we relax yet?
2 more wickets in this power play, and then we can relax.
Well, obviously we can. Yes, you're right. You're right. Good spot from you. Good spot.
Keep you on your toes. Someone has to.
You're not kidding. 12 balls for his 9. Joe Clark. Just showing a replay on the big screen now. I bet you can't see any deviation, but they could clearly hear it out there. I can't see a deviation, but... It's moved about 4 foot, says Colsey. Thank you. Well, I'm always nervous at these times. I've no idea why. Rob McSherry is. Rob. He's watching the game from a swimming pool in Barbados. Says that is the way to watch the game if you can't be here. Ben Aitchison, 24 for 1. Haynes, the new batsman, guides this one out into the offside. In off the boundary comes Potts. They're thinking about a second, but he's in quickly, Nick. And they're only going to get a single.
If you can't be in Barbados, there's only one other place that you can go.
Hey, I'll tee them up, or our listeners will tee them up, and you just knock them away.
It's a great start for Derbyshire in this power play.
2 more wickets and they've won it. 25 for 1, they haven't. Munsey on 13 off 10. Just guides that down the short third man. There's no single there. That's a nice piece of fielding as well. I think that's Caleb Jewell fielding there. 5 runs off the second. Ben Aitchison over. 25 for 1 after 4. Same stage, Derbyshire number 45 with Outlaws.
Advantage Derbyshire here. Really got to keep on trying to take wickets here. Notts have to keep on taking that risk. I'm really taking too many high risks at the moment.
Morley to bowl his second over then, over number 5 from the City end. 2 runs off his first over. He'll do well to get away with 2 runs off this one because they know that they have to start scoring runs and scoring them soon. That required rate's gone above 13 and over now. As he comes in around the wicket, there's a good shot that from Haynes out towards the mid-wicket boundary. You wouldn't know from the crowd that it had gone over the rope, would you?
You know you're in Derby tonight.
It's a very heavily Derbyshire crowd in. Good crowd. Standing room only in parts. Some people will do anything to find a seat.
The best seat is next to you, Dave, isn't it?
Absolutely, you know it. Morley's in again. That was just tapped into the leg side. Now, there might be 2 here. No. In comes Potts off the boundary. The ball just reaches the 30-yard circle. Single taken. Haynes moves on to 6. 30 for 1.
What are your thoughts on the new format on points? 4 points for a win.
Well, it was always 4 points for a win. What I don't like is the playing teams outside of your group because it makes a terrible mess of league tables. Reverse sweep comes out. That's a good shot. 4 runs to George Munsey. Down towards what would have been backward point. Turns into deep backward square leg. Nicely played by the Scot. He moves on to 17.
Seems like that's just a forward defence for many players now. Just seems like that's a non-negotiable, that shot.
34 for 1. The score moves on to 201 runs to win, remarkably. The Derbyshire got their highest score in T20 cricket history. That's a good ball. Munsey can do nothing but defend. A little bit quicker, flatter from Morley. The Watchdale Richards still not taking off. And the wicket he comes. Reverse sweep comes out again. It's a full toss, but it's nicely fielded on the edge of the circle by Wayne Madsen. No, Nick Potts. Madsen's at extra cover. I thought he got down quick. I'm not sure he would have got up that quick either.
You got to give Wayne a bit of slack here.
What do you have?
Even you, Dave.
30. Well, he's nearly as old as I am. 35 for 1. Morley to Haynes, who goes back and plays it out into the offside. Good sliding stop there. That was Wayne Madsen, by the way. A really nice stop. He gets an extra louder cheer, and the over comes to an end. 36 for 1 after 5. 9 runs off that over at the same stage. Derbyshire was 77 with Outlaws.
Some of the viewers, Fletch, might be asking why Javid doesn't have the sponsorship on the front of his T-shirt.
We know, don't we?
Explain to the
But
viewers.
for religious reasons, because Derbyshire is sponsored by a betting company. He can't have it, nor can the youngsters who are under the age of 18. So there was a time when Harry Moore couldn't have it, Yusuf bin Naeem couldn't have it. Here he is. The sponsorless Akif Javed, this time from the racecourse end, bowls to Haynes, who lifts that out into the offside over the head of Wayne Madsen. A chase on here for Ross Wiley. He will get there. They go back for a couple. It wasn't far away from Wayne Madsen at all on the edge of the circle at extra cover. Haynes moves on to 9, 38 for 1. It does look a good pitch to bat on, though, doesn't it? You're right. You've got to get used to the pace of it, but it doesn't. Well, pitches in T20 cricket rarely do anything unusual. When they do, players want games abandoned. 38 for 1. Haynes on strike. He's got 9. Javed bowls and strikes him on the pad. He'll get a single bullet leg by. Down to Nick Potts, who's at third man. Hassan Adnan signals the leg by. 39 for 1 now, Nottinghamshire. Wayne Manson has a word with Akif Jabbar. I don't know what Wayne's Urdu's like. I'm sure that Ross Whiteley's is even worse, but he's having a word with him as well.
What's yours like, Fletch?
No, non-existent. No, Yusuf is the only player, as I understand it, who can actually talk to him fluently, certainly.
You don't need to talk too much in cricket, you just bowl the ball, don't you?
I think Mickey might have picked up a bit with his time in Pakistan. He's in now, he's jabbing. That's edged through to the keeper. He went for the little flick shot over the keeper's head. He didn't get enough on it, Muncie. Donald takes the catch, and Akif Jabbar has a wicket in the power play. And well done to him. And Derbyshire are well on top here against their arch rivals, the Notts Outlaws. They're now 2 down inside the power play. Can they get a third before the end of this over to really force home their advantage? It's 39 for 2.
And even though that was a pretty short ball, it just seemed like it didn't get up and took the glove of Muncie there. So it was a great wicket, and hopefully this is a catalyst for Javid to now put his foot on the throat here for the Notts opening batters and get one more wicket in this famous power play.
18 off 15. I'll keep saying it because I think it's true, but it almost came off his gloves, didn't it?
Yeah.
Almost came off his gloves. Short of a length delivery, which is his stop ball. And 2 down already.
Guessing Derbyshire haven't had too many left arm overseas bowlers.
Zaman Khan. He was left arm, wasn't he? Thank you from the back. My memory's not great, but I was fairly sure he was left. He was great. Slip the sidearm action. Anyway, Javed bowls. That's beaten the edge. McCann's bat. He's the new batter. Freddie McCann. I'm trying to think now. See, I'm not sure whether some of these are left-handed and some of them are not, so I'm going to look foolish.
I've set you up here, haven't I, Dave?
Was Wahab Riaz, is he left-handed? Yeah, they had him for a while. He had a marvellous stand-up row with Liam Livingston, I think it was here. Liam Livingston was dismissed by him and he spent the entire time
walking him off.
Well, no, Livingston wouldn't keep quiet. Javed bowls, that's chopped into the offside. There is a single taken here. It's Madsen doing the fielding. And they let them have the single rather than, because there's nobody backing up, there's nobody on the leg side.
Derbyshire have played 3 games now, haven't they, in this competition? This will be their 4th.
It will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully a win tonight puts them in the, well, depending how Durham and Yorkshire get on.
Don't.
We're looking.
I'm not looking at the semi-finals here, are we? Quarter-finals, I beg your pardon.
Well, they're doing it in the World Cup, Football World Cup, so why can't we?
This is not football. 40 for 2, Javed bowls, turned into the leg side by Haynes for a single fielded by Jack Morley. The over comes to an end, and a good one for Akif Javed. 1 for 10 off his 2 overs now. That one went for just 5 runs. He will feel a lot better about life, I'm sure, after that. And the power play comes to an end. 41 for 2. Derbyshire at the same stage, 78 without loss.
A slight difference there.
Just in front, I think, there, Derbyshire. Young Popsy comes on to bat, the bowl rather. He's had a really good couple of weeks here. Came into the game at Lords, bowled nicely, played in all 3 of the previous T20s, picked up a couple of wickets in each of the games against Durham and Yorkshire. Just bowled a 1 over at Leicestershire, which did go for 18. He's into bowl to Haynes, who pulls this into the leg side. There is more protection now out on the boundary, and that is Caleb Jewell doing the fielding there. Haynes moves to 11, 42 for 2.
Seems like he's been around quite a bit, Nick Potts.
Yes, he has.
But still very young, but hopefully this can be his season. Been given a chance against Middlesex and been given a chance due to probably injury from other...
Well, Zach Chappell was due to play in that game, pulled up lame the day before the match. Potts is in now to McCann. Pushes this one out into the offside, fielded by Madsen. Good ball. Just tucking him up a little bit.
Just hitting this deck really hard here. Got the men out. Notts are in a difficult position now. Do they try and form a partnership here or just keep going?
Required rate's over 14 now. Will that worry them?
No.
Oh, come on. When are they going to get worried?
When they lose 3 wickets.
Yeah, well,
outside of the power play.
No, we're outside the power play now, so it's anybody's game. Potts around the wicket, bowls. That's been lifted into the leg side. Is Basra going to get underneath this one? He's going to get underneath this one and take the catch on the boundary. Amrit Basra. McCann goes for 1. The Outlaws do lose their 3rd wicket. 42 for 3 now. A wicket for Nick Potts. It won't say where it was caught in the scorebook, but it was a good catch from Basra. He was very close to the boundary.
Sometimes as well, when you're that close to the boundary, you always have it in the back of your mind. Sometimes you'll give it a quick look where the rope is, but it seems like he judged that really nicely. Hopefully that was the opposite of the commentator's curse as well. What is the opposite?
There isn't anything, because the commentator's curse doesn't exist, so there can't be something opposite to something that doesn't exist. Can there? I don't think they can. Anyway, McCann goes for 1. Or 4 deliveries. Part of they have to score, and they know they have to get boundaries. Nottinghamshire, which I call them because I know they don't like it. In T20 cricket, they don't like the full Nottinghamshire. The Notts Outlaws. And their Twitter handle is @TrentBridge. It's got nothing to do with the club. 42 for 3. Potts is in. Bowls to the new batter, Moores, who almost feathers it through to an Aaron Donald. Had a real go at that one. Martin Anderson's warming up already, look. He can't wait to get going, the boy. I can't say I blame him, really. One of the nights of T20 cricket history in this country on Wednesday night. And Aaron Donald's having a long-range chat with him because Anderson is at short, fine leg. Moores waits. 42 for 3. Potts bowls, and he can do no more than defend that to Wayne Madsen at short mid-off. What an over this is from Nick Potts.
Fantastic over. Showed his maturity here, whereby he's just hitting back of a length. Difficult to get going as a batter on here.
Always has a smile on his face. Nick Potts. I didn't think I'd ever interview him after a T20 match, though.
Tonight could be the night, Dave.
Could absolutely try and get as many as I can out there. Potts is in, bowls to Moores, who lifts this into the leg side, out towards Basra, just waits for that extra bounce, and it did. There was an extra bounce there. It went into his chest almost. 43 for 3 at the end of 7 overs. 2 runs off that over. Remarkable from Nick Potts. I don't think there was a better over. There wasn't in the first innings. That is magnificent effort from Potts. And here he is, everybody's favourite, Anderson.
Spelt the right way or the wrong way?
Only with 2 S's. No, I was going to say something then about that. No, I won't say that. But Martin Anderson, who has made a little dig at me for calling him Martin Anderson with 2 S's, so I'm going to carry on doing it. He's on his way into bowl to Tom Moores, who's got 1 at 43 for 3 knots, and well, that's a horrible shot, really, up towards Ross Whiteley, who comes in off the long-on boundary. They go through for a single. Moores moves to 2, 44 for 3. At the end of 6 overs, incidentally, Derbyshire 78 without loss. At the end of 7 overs, which they were a few moments ago, Derbyshire were 96 for 1. They've scored more than, well, they had scored more than twice as many runs as the Outlaws and lost 1 fewer wicket. That one is slapped into the offside. There is a fielder out there. It's Nick Potts, but without the arm protectors, just to try and fool me.
Thought you were going to say with the 2 T's, Potts.
Yes, that hasn't been pointed out. Why don't I do it for everybody? It's because not everybody's Scandinavian. Jules got 2 L's. Anderson bowls a swing and a miss from Moores, goes through to an Aaron Donald.
And Moores can be a dangerous batter as well. Travelled around in the different leagues as well. I'm guessing he's just got a white ball contract at Nottingham, is that right?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't take much notice of the First Division for obvious reasons. It was only last week I discovered there was another division. I had no idea. Anderson bowls to him and he slaps that down the ground. It'll be fielded here by Caleb Jewell and just a single will be taken. Moores moves on to 347 for 3. Anderson will be disappointed. He got 2 wickets by this stage on Wednesday night. I don't quite know what he's doing here.
It's a good leveler, this game is.
Oh, isn't it? He has only conceded 3 runs. And in he goes. Bowls to Haynes, who clips that out to deep backward square leg. That's Jack Morley out there. Quickly to the ball. Good arm, throws it in. Single taken. Haynes moves to 13, 47. 4-3. We're in the 8th over. The 8th over in which Derbyshire went past 3 figures. No idea what's happening this week. Anderson in. That one is a full delivery. Might get 4 for this. Montgomery, no he won't, because Montgomery gets around the boundary nicely, keeps them down to a couple. He gets a round of applause from Martin Anderson. 2 added to the total. 49 for 3 at the end of 8 overs. And just 6 runs off that one. They've only had 1 over that has gone for double figures, which says a lot.
And it just shows that even though Notts have got the big names, just shows that Derbyshire are being a bit smarter with the way they're bowling at the moment here. Obviously that over from Ollie Stone went for a lot here.
Yes. He went for an awful lot. There we go for 32. Nick Potts in and bowls. That one's been slapped straight back down the ground by Haynes. Nice shot, 4 runs. And the half century comes up for the Notts Outlaws. Just a little bit short of a length and sat up, didn't it?
They have to go at some point here. That run rate's creeping up to 14, 15 and over.
Should they be worried here?
If they lose 1 more wicket.
Thank you. 15 and a half is the required rate. 53 for 3. Potts is in. That's a short ball. It's pulled into the leg side out towards cow corner. That might go all the way for 6. And does it? I'm not sure from this distance, but the umpire says 4. Sort of got away with 1 there, Nick Potts. It wasn't a great delivery. Again, a little bit too short. Good to see 1 or 2 of the bowlers getting around him. Ross Whiteley's there with him now. Ben Aitchison. I mean, Ross Whiteley, you couldn't find a more experienced T20 player. Ben Aitchison, not so much, but.
And it just seemed like when...
Oh, they've changed it to 6, have they? Thank you. They've changed it to 6. So 59 for 3 now. Sorry, Greg.
And it just seems like when Joe Clark was on the field, he wasn't really talking too much to his bowlers.
Trying to catch the ball. Potts comes in. The bowler Haynes, full length delivery. It's down the leg side, though, just down the leg side and signalled wide. Nice take from Donald, tumbling away to his left. Test here for Nick Potts now. He's gone 4-6 wide. Already bowled 1 over, as I say, on Wednesday night. It went for 18. Wasn't required again after that, largely due to the introduction of Martin Anderson. We haven't seen Matthew Montgomery yet with the ball. Potts is in, bowls, and that one is whipped away into the leg side. It'll take some stopping. Oh, it's an excellent piece of fielding. I think that's Montgomery. Keeps him down to a couple. It is Montgomery. Excellent fielder on the boundary.
I think as well about this time of the night, this is when the dew starts kicking in on the field as well. So that might play in Derbyshire's hands. It may be a bit more truer rather than it being
certainly seemed to skid to him, didn't it? The 2 men out there are Montgomery and Jewell on the leg side boundary as Potts is in once again. That one is pulled out to Jewell. He was quite pleased it only bounced once, I think. If that had bounced just in front of him, that could have been very awkward indeed. 63 for 3 now. Haynes on 26, Moores on 5. Clark for 9, Munsey for 18 and McCann for 1. The 3 men have already been and gone. Wickets for Aitchison, Javid and Potts. 2 catches for an Aaron Donald and 1 out on the boundary for Amrit Basra as Javid is called into the edge of the circle at 3rd man, and Martin Anderson is pushed out at fine leg. Here comes Potts to bowl To Moores, it's a full toss. Is it above waist height? That's the question. It's bunted out into the offside where it's fielded by Wayne Madsen. No, say the umpires. That's good.
Do you think the Derbyshire bowlers were happy when they didn't see Ben Duckett in the team?
Yes, none of the England players were going to play, but were they? They're at Loughborough with their feet up.
In the tents.
Are they in tents? Are they? No. They wouldn't be at this time of year in this heat, would they? What am I talking about? Don't try and trip me up. Potts, ball's full delivery, good one. Haynes digs it out, gets a single. And the over comes to an end. Haynes moves on to 27, 65 for 3 then. So 16 off the over.
Good comeback there from Potts as well, being hit for a 6 and a 4, and then a couple of singles at the end of that over and a good Yorker as well. So maybe Derbyshire bowlers will go to Yorkers a lot quicker than the Notts bowlers.
Martin Anderson's going to continue from the racecourse, and after 9 overs, 65 for 3 Notts. Derbyshire were 122 for 1. They've got some runs to score here. Another 170 of them. Anderson in and bowls. He's pulled into the leg side. That might go all the way for 4. It will. No chance for Caleb Jewell. Martin Anderson is having a look at an Aaron Donald as if to say, I thought I had a fielder there. He didn't.
All bowlers do that when they get hit for boundaries.
I'm sure I was just a little bit squat now. So I wasn't there.
You either look down at the turf and look at where you're bowling,
scratching away. Yeah, scratching away. Oh dear, what's happening out there? Here's Martin Anderson into bowl. That one is pulled into the leg side by Haynes again. Amrit Basra gets there really quickly. Doesn't pick it up cleanly and then can't pick it up the second time either, which allows them to get through for a couple. That, I would suggest, is put down entirely to the outfield, because he is a superb fielder, Amrit Basra.
I think that's probably the first misfield in the whole of the game so far.
Not been many, have there?
No,
it's been really good from both sides. 71 for 3. Haynes on to 33 off 17. Anderson bowls driven. It's driven straight to Wayne Madsen on the edge of the circle. And they go through for a single, and Haynes moves to 34, 72 for 3. Wayne Madsen is told by Hassan Adnan that really he could have kept that one off the floor. Wayne said, well, only bounced once and we're allowed that.
I think the rule is when you're in the inner circle, you can't bounce it on the floor to the keeper.
Oh, okay. He was just outside the circle by the time he fielded it. I think we'll give him that one. Here comes Anderson again. Bowls to Tom Moores. That's down the leg side and wide. 73 for 3. Helpfully.
Would have Wayne played with Hassan Adnan?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Played with everyone, hasn't he, Wayne?
WG. Spofford is wide down the offside this time. He's got that wrong, Martin Anderson. So back-to-back wides. He just needs to get his head on here, Martin Anderson.
You've got to give him a bit of leeway here.
There's no slack cut by anybody in this game, Greg, as you know. It's a cutthroat business. Here he goes again. 3 balls left of the over still. Bowls to Moores, who pulls this violently into the leg side, but straight to Nick Potts on the boundary, and they only get a single. He hit that exceptionally hard. Potts didn't have to move to field it. He's got a great arm as well, Nick Potts. Throws the ball back in. Moores moves on to 70. Would have thought he got more than that for that. 75 for 3.
Who's Derbyshire's best fielder in the squad, Dave?
Anderson in and bowls, swing and a miss from Haynes, not signalled wide this time by Hassan Adnan. It's a great question. I'm glad you asked me that. I would think Amrit Basra is probably the best fielder in the squad, but he doesn't play much red ball cricket. In fact, he hardly plays any. Potts isn't bad. Harry Kane out on the boundary, he's decent. There's Anderson bowls, that one is a full-length delivery. Out towards Caleb Jewell, and that ball bounced up into his midriff, which almost helped him there, and he keeps him down to a single. Excellent work. 76 for 3 at the end of 10 overs, the halfway stage. Then Derbyshire were 128 for 1. at the same stage. Over at Martin Anderson's went for 11.
If Derbyshire get over the line tonight, Fletch, when do you reckon they'll be thinking, can we?
Oh, not yet. Not yet. I think Sunday's, the next one's always a big game, isn't it? Matthew Montgomery's coming on, incidentally. Has bowled the first over of an innings twice this season, and now he's bowling his first over, 11th over of the innings. But of course, these players will know him a lot better than possibly the players he's played against previously. And he comes in to bowl to Haynes, who edges that one down towards third man. Aitchison gives chase and then realises the ball's going to beat him. There is definitely some turn, isn't there? Because we've seen a lot of edges off spinners.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that often. How the amount of times, the amount of edges where the actual ball has gone, it's bizarre. I don't know what it is, because it was off the spinners and off the seamers as well.
No, it's been bizarre. Montgomery in again. This time he's clipping it up. Haynes to long on. He'll go through for a single. So Martin Anderson out there. Long on. He has got his sunglasses on. Not many others have, but most of the ground is in shade now, so perhaps Derbyshire have had the better of that as well over the course of the evening. All about home advantage. 81 for 3. That's, that one is... He gives himself room, Moores, and then does no more than play it up to Martin Anderson here, and he throws it into Nyron Donald.
He doesn't hold back, does he, Tom Moores?
No, I think he's trying to hit it too hard. If you can hit it too hard. Sometimes you get a bit out of shape like he did there, and heads all over the place. 82 for 3. Montgomery around the wicket, bowls. That's swept out towards Caleb Jewell. He's getting around the field a bit. Another single. Oh, it goes underneath an Aaron Donald. Now there's a chance for an overthrow here. That's a bit slack from Derbyshire. Wasn't a good throw. Wasn't collected at all by an Aaron Donald, and everybody else had turned their back on the ball because they thought it was going to be a single. It turns into 2. 84 for 3, and Haynes moves on to 42 of 23 deliveries. He's done well here, Jack Haynes. Montgomery bowls to him. He's aiming for the middle and ends up in the Bork cushion pocket there as he goes through for a single right off the toe end of the bat. 85 for 3, Haynes on to 43. Moores is 8 off 10, which is the wrong way round. And he'll know it. And he waits now. It's Montgomery bowls and he slaps this out on 6 onto the balcony, I fancy, of the members' pavilion, who are all shielding their eyes from the sun. So a disappointing end to the Matthew Montgomery over. I think he went for 14 in the end. To be able to tell with the scoreboard turning into some kind of disco ball.
I think the bowlers are going to expect that Notts are going to have to keep on going here, so they'll take 1 or 2 sixes throughout the next couple of overs.
15 runs off that over. Martin Anderson looks like he's just going to carry on bowling until he gets a wicket. I think he's going to trouble the record books this evening necessarily. We tried to get...
There's not enough ink in the pens from the last game to carry on.
We tried to get a record for him out of David Griffin earlier. This one is pulled into the leg side. First ball of the over by Haynes out to Basra, sliding, throws the ball in quickly, keeps them down to a couple. Haynes moves to 45 off 25, 93 for 3.
It'll be interesting to see their game against Essex and how they fare against the Southern Division and Southern teams.
Well, they've never beaten one. They don't play them that often. Anderson into bowl to Haynes, short of a length. It's up in the air. Wayne Madson's underneath it. Will he take the catch? He will. Haynes goes for 45. It's 93 for 4 now. You can't keep Martin Anderson out of this game. He picks up another wicket. And Derbyshire are well on top here at the Central Co-op County Ground. Simple as you like. 45 Haynes makes. Madsen adds to his enormous collection of T20 catches, I'm sure.
And sometimes when they loop up like that, they're the hardest because you've got so much time and so many thoughts going on your head, but there's not a better safe a better safe pair of hands other than Wayne Madsen, and probably Ross Whiteley.
I know what you're trying to say. There's no safer pair of hands, is there?
There you go.
Yeah. I thought that's what you meant. No, they've lost to Essex, Hampshire. It's not true that they haven't beat a Southern-based side because they beat Gloucestershire in a quarter-final, didn't they? But they lost to Somerset as well, so it's 1-3 their record against teams from the south. Somerset are coming here in the second half of the competition. They've been dealt a slightly duff hand there. Derbyshire taking on the reigning champions. George Linder, the new batter, 93 for 4. Anderson into bowl 2. That one is clipped into the leg side for a single. Nick Potts comes in off the boundary and then runs past the ball. Remarkable. He's just disappeared off my list of the best fielders of the Derbyshire squad.
Commentator's curse.
Again, done by the outfield, I'm sure. That is very unlike Nick Potts. 95 for 4 now. So Linder gets a couple. 8.5 overs to go. The required rate 16.5 runs per over. That one is defended straight back to Anderson, who fields off his own bowling and gets up in a very typical Martin Anderson way, turns round and jogs back to his mark.
Just gets on with his business, just sort of bloke.
Just like the catch. 0.4,
phenomenal that.
0.4 of a second reaction time, I think I was told today. By somebody who bizarrely timed it. So that one is pushed by Linder up towards Caleb Jewell for a single. Linder moves to 396 for 4. Just 139 more runs required off 8 overs and 1 ball. Is now a good time to mention I've only ever seen Derbyshire beat Nottinghamshire twice, and I've been doing this now for 11 years. Anderson, final ball of his third over, it's full, and it's just played into the onside. Now they'll fancy 2 here because it's only just got to the 30-yard circle. Potts gets to it and rolls it in virtually. They do come back for a second. Moores moves on to 16. Linder has 3, 98 for 4. Martin Anderson 3 overs 1 for 24. Conceded just 7 runs off the 12th over.
It's been a very bizarre innings from Notts here. They haven't really got going, and they've hit a couple of big shots, but they haven't really had a plan. And I feel like they've probably not had a plan when they've bowled as well. I feel like they've been quite shell-shocked, and they've taken that into their batting as well.
You're not going to win many games of T20 cricket if you don't have a plan when you're batting or bowling. I don't think.
And also trying to chase down 2, 3, 4 is nigh on impossible.
Well, yes, quite.
Especially with the boundary sizes.
Been a remarkable evening so far at the Central Co-op County Ground. Matthew Montgomery into bowl to Linder, who just pushes that up towards Ross Whiteley for a single. Nice and gentle. Moves on to a runner ball 4. 99 for 4. Derbyshire, after 12 overs, were 147 for 2, by the way. Notts were 98 for 4. And comes Montgomery. Bowls. That one is clubbed down the ground. But again, is he going to get there? Oh, not quite. Ross Whiteley put the dive in, couldn't quite make it, so he picks up a boundary. Tom Moores moves on to 20.
He's not conventional the way he plays, but he's very effective. If there's ever going to be a fielder that was going to stop that, it was Ross.
Yes.
But it just seems like the ball just slides on.
Woodham just inspects the ball, which crashed into the advertising boards on the far end of the ground. 103, 100 up for Notts, 103 for 4. Montgomery comes in again to bowl to Moores, who will have kept wicket to him a few times. He's hit that out towards Basra, who can't quite get there as it goes over his head for 6 out to Cow Corner. I was going to say, that don't look like he wanted to change the field there, but you can't really put Amrit Basra anywhere else because he's already on the rope. Matthew Montgomery goes the distance. Tom Moores up to 26 off 14, 109 for 4. Required rate still close to 17 and over. So he hides the ball behind his back once again, Matthew Montgomery. Comes in and bowls to Moores, who gives himself a bit of room and then almost cloths the ball down the ground to Ross Whiteley, just for a single. 110 for 4. Moores moves on to 27. The required rate climbs above 17 as a single is taken. 44 balls remain. 43 now as that one is pushed out backward square on the offside towards Caleb Jewell by Linda. 111 for 4.
Who have you been most impressed with the bowlers?
I liked Aitchison. I do like Aitchison anyway. Akif Javed, who's going to come back, of course, bowled really nicely up top. This one's in the air. Well, it's going to go all the way for 6, isn't it? Halfway up the... oh no, it's dropped short of the side screen, straight down the ground. And Matthew Montgomery, no, might need to find somebody else to bowl the rest of his overs here. They've taken a bit of a liking to him, the Knox Outlaws. Now, after 13 overs, they're up to 117 for 4, 19 runs off that over. Still haven't seen a 32-run over in this innings, of course. I'm going to put Ollie Stoke be sent out for the Radio Nottingham people to interview.
And that'll be a bit harsh.
A Ben Duckett lookalike in the crowd there, I noticed on the... Here's Martin Anderson to bowl his 4th and final over. That one is slashed away in between the two men, backward a square on the offside for 4 by Linda. 121 for 4 now. But they have to start throwing the kitchen sink at just about everything, don't they?
Absolutely, they've got absolutely nothing to lose now. They don't play for run rate or anything like that, so they need to go for it.
Ball eventually works its way back to Martin Anderson as Linda moves on to 9 or 6, 121 for 4, flexes his knees as Anderson comes in and he helps that round the corner for 4 more. One bounce down towards fine leg. Back-to-back boundaries to start the over will help enormously. Madsen, who's at mid-off, collects the ball, gives it to Hassan Adnan, who just checks it. Who's going to have a word with Martin?
What do you reckon they check it for? Because it's not like it's hit a massive brick wall or anything like that. Do you think it's just...
I think it's so that if it does look damaged after this delivery that doesn't go anywhere, they can't say they've been doing anything to the ball. That's a good comeback from Martin Anderson at a Yorker length. Linda digs it out. 125 for 4 it remains. That's the only thing.
What are you most impressed with collectively over the past couple of games?
What is it with these questions? The last couple of games? Well, the batting, I mean, there's been nothing wrong with the batting all season, has there? I thought they bowled nicely at Grace Road to bowl them out for 145 as Anderson comes in to bowl to Linda. Now he's lifted that into the long off area and it's gone a mile, an absolute mile. Full delivery. So easy.
Effortless, isn't it?
Unbelievably effortless.
With these bats now, they just need to hit through the line of the ball. It just goes for 6, even with the size of these boundaries.
You and your bats. I just think I've been reasonably impressed by Derbyshire all season, in truth. I know they lost those 3 games in a row and it was quite difficult to defend them at that time. The hardest one to defend was the Lancashire defeat, but 131 for 4. They played some good cricket. Anderson in. That one is crashed out into the offside. Amrit Basra will watch the bounce, watch the spin. Keeps them down to a single. Throws it back to Donald. 132 for 4. So Linda's going at 200 now, which he almost has to do, really. Moore's just over 200. As Anderson comes into bowl to him, full length delivery again, right in the block hole. They've run the first one quickly. I think Javed gets around eventually. Keeps them down to a single. And the over comes to an end at 133 for 4. Thank you, Martin. Gets a tap on the back there from Wayne Madsen. It was his night by some distance the other night at Grace Road. Tonight, though, well, that over's gone for 16. So they've got 20, no, they've got 35 off the last 2 overs. Is that right? Seems a lot. 19 and 16 is 35. 133 for 4. They still need 102 runs though at 17 runs and over. Such was the scale of Derbyshire's first innings. Akif Javed is back from the City end, bowling to Tom Morse, who muscles him down the ground. Ross Whiteley covers the ground really nicely, sliding, gets there and gets the ball away, keeps them down to a couple. That's excellent fielding from the old boy.
So good, doesn't it? Down,
was he 30,
get the ball.
37 now, he must be.
And he's won this competition a few times, hasn't he?
Sadly not with Derbyshire.
Not yet.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Ross Whiteley is 37, I thought he was. Here's Akif Javed in to bowl to Moores. He's lifted that towards Martin Anderson. Who, I thought he'd taken a one-handed catch there at mid-off. He was just over his head. I think he got a hand to it, you know.
I think he did. I think the ball was just drifting in the air as well, so it's very difficult to get the trajectory of it. But
well, the week he's had, he wouldn't have
counted it out, would you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Single to Moores, moves on to 37, 136 for 4, but he didn't get hold of any of that ball really there. When you're trying to hit it straight back like that off a bowler who's bowling in the high 80s, it's almost impossible, I would imagine. As Javed is in again, that one's just pushed out into the offside. Around goes Caleb Jewell, who's almost standing at slip, isn't he? Does the fielding, he's a short third man really, but the distance behind the stumps that Aaron Donald is standing is virtually full slip.
I just looked at the Derbyshire's innings and the wagon wheel. Behind square, they scored 89 runs behind square. How crazy is that?
86 of them off the edge. Here comes Javed. Bowls, strikes the pad of Moores. I think he might have got an inside edge, did he, onto his pad there. Javed fills off his own bowling. No bat involved, just off the pad. 138 for 4. Moores 37 off 20 now. Linda 21 off 11. The partnership worth 45 off 20, and yet the required rate has climbed to 18. The moon is out. Beautiful evening here in Derby. It must be getting a bit cold. Brought my jacket to go and do the interviews. Can't be too careful. 2 balls to go in the Javed over. 1 for 14 his figures at the moment. 138 for 4 knots. That one is guided, but straight to third man, and no is the cry from Moore. So it's a dot ball. Excellent work all round.
It's been a really good over here as well. Even though he probably hasn't taken 3 or 4 wickets, it's a real mature spell here from your overseas.
Derbyshire informed me that this match is indeed sold out here at the Central Co-op County Ground. So well done to everybody involved. Take a bit longer to get the interviews as players sign autographs. Javed is in, bowls, and tucks Linda up, gets another dot ball. Excellent stuff. Akif Javed, 3 overs, 1 for 14, 138 for 4. Just 5 runs off that one. It's what you want, isn't it? We talked about, I mean, I didn't write them down, but we're looking at Muhammad Ali's figures as well, compared to everybody else's. He bowled 4 overs, 1 for 35, went to 8.75. The only bowler, apart from McCann, who only bowled 1 over for 6, who went for less than 10 and over. So your overseas has done his job there, and similarly.
And with the Notts bowling attack as well, all have been involved in some form of international honours as well.
Absolutely.
So,
and then you look down the Derbyshire list, 6.5 for Morley, 7.5 for this man, Ben Aitchison, who is back from the... That's going to damage his figures slightly as he's smashed for 6 by Moores down the ground. Had been going at 6 to 7.5 and over, Ben Aitchison.
And you look at somebody like Howell, I reckon Howell's played more T20 games than all of the bowlers for Derbyshire.
Oh, I think that's absolutely right. I think that's absolutely right. It'd be fascinating find out. I'll try and do so now. How many T20s he's actually played, Benny Howe, who does look like Novak Djokovic still. According to this website, he's played 267 T20s before tonight. That one is driven down the ground by Moores, but this time Ross Whiteley, who's going from one end of the ground to the other, will be able to do the fielding. Moores moves to 44, 145 for 4. And still, the required rate climbs. They need 90 at 19 and over from here on in. 90 off 28 balls. It's asking a lot.
Nigh on impossible now.
Most balls have to go to the boundary, don't they, to get 3 and over. They're not going to run many threes, you wouldn't have thought. As Aitchison is in to bowl to Linda, wide of the off stump, he goes, tries to do something with it. Linda makes no contact. Goes through to Aaron Donald.
Do you see Essex being one of Derbyshire's hardest opponents out of the teams that they've got?
I watched them on, I think Lancashire probably will be with the amount of firepower that they've got, but Aitchison bolts, that one's lifted up towards long on. It's going to drop short of Martin Anderson. They'll pick up a single. Linda moves to 22, 146 for 4. I watched their game on television the other night. They played at Hampshire. And again, a bit like this Notts side, they're not the massively frightening side that they once were, but they've still got some pretty good players and on their own patch. Derbyshire will have to play well. That's driven by Moores, straight to Wayne Madsen at extra cover. Got ball. Aitchison, 1 ball of his 3rd over left, 1 for 23. As much as anything, it's the fact that you played on a Friday night and you've got to get on a bus on the Saturday to go down and play at 4 o'clock start, remember, on Sunday. As Aitchison is in, bowls to Moores, who lifts that for 6, out towards extra cover, and that lands just in front of the marquee. Disappointing way for the over to end, really. 152 for 4, 14 runs off it. 4 overs to go then.
These guys will be used to sort of short and sharp games as well, one after the other, and I think with the form, and hopefully they win tonight, with the form and the confidence, they'll want to play every day at the moment. They don't want any breaks.
Nobody's desperate to get in the nets and have a knock, are they, really? All the batters have scored runs. The bowlers have...
And this is the good side of this T20 format. Derbyshire always seems like we're losing, and now they're on the other side where they just want to play as many games as possible.
Nick Potts from the City end to bowl over number 17. And the first ball is lifted out towards the wide long off boundary for 6. Linda moves to 28, 158 for 4 now, but that required rate is now 20 and over. 77 off 23 balls is the requirement, which is a lot.
I think it's too many now, isn't it?
That's in my language, it's a lot. I think so.
Are Derbyshire winning?
I think so. In comes Potts to bowl to George Linder. Again, it's short of a length. It's pulled around the corner, but only get a single out to Jack Morley. Morley, who's only bowled 2 overs, just 13 runs conceded. Martin Anderson's finished 4 overs, 1 for 40. Akif Javed has an over to go. He's got 1 for 14 from his 3 overs. That's exceptional in this game. Ben Aitchison, 3 overs, 1 for 29. Matthew Montgomery, I don't think we'll see him again. 2 overs for 34. Difficult against his former club, who will have seen an awful lot of him over the years before he eventually came across to the from the dark side last winter. Potts into Tom Moores, who digs a ball out. There is a fielder on the long off boundary. It's Martin Anderson. Picks up a single to move to 51. His 50 came off 24 deliveries, so well done to him. Not sure it's going to help his side very much as the required rate moves on to 21 and a half. 75 off 21 balls.
I think when Derbyshire come up against the better teams and the teams that are really putting pressure on them, I think their biggest challenge will be that 6th bowler that they've got in the team.
Potts bowls, short delivery. Is it down the leg side? Is it wide? It is wide. It's a little bit unlucky. It probably did go past the outside of the leg stump. In fact, yeah, I think you're right. The good thing is that in the second half of the competition, because they've got 2 more games in this first half, they go to Essex on Sunday, and then a week later they're at Trent Bridge for the return game against the Outlaws. Both games, of course, you'll be able to hear live on BBC Radio Derby, BBC Sounds, the BBC Sport website. You can't get away from us. They have that little gap of 2 championship matches. There's Nick Potts. He's on his way in and bowls. That one is lifted into the leg side. Amrit Basra racing in from the boundary to get underneath it. Takes the catch, and Linda's gone for 29. 161 for 5 now, Knox. And Derbyshire are moving inexorably towards victory over the Outlaws.
That's a luxury as well, when you know the batters are going to go after you. One little mistake and it's a wicket. And he deserves that as well. I think he's gone from strength to strength in every single game that he's played. As we keep on reiterating, he wasn't never going to be the first pick out the bowlers in this squad, but it's all about taking that chance, and especially in this ruthless game of professional sport, he's taken it with both hands.
2 for 27, his figures now. Nick Potts, who's had a couple of weeks to remember, really, from the Derbyshire perspective. Previous best figures in T20 cricket. This is only his 6th game of T20 cricket as well. I mean, he's not exactly a veteran.
He's already taken 6 wickets in this competition now.
2 for 34 were his previous best figures, Nick Potts. So 2 for 44, 2 for 34 against Durham in the opening game of the season, 2 for 44 against Yorkshire, just a 1 over for 18.
Are you looking at my notes there? You're looking at my notes there, aren't you, Dave?
I'm looking at my own notes that you have a copy of. 161 for 5. They're the only notes I've made, so I need to claim responsibility. Potts to Benny Howell, who's the new batter, bowls to him, dug out, straight back to Potts, catches it with his left hand. 1 or 2 of the slightly more refreshed members of the crowd might have thought that was a one-handed catch away to his left-hand side. It was a dot ball. The required rate now 23.5, which basically means unless every ball goes over the boundary, Derbyshire win the game. 74 off 19 deliveries. Nick Potts to finish his 3rd over. He's in now, and that one is pulled into the leg side. It'll go in between the 2 fielders out there. And it's 165 for 5 now with 13 runs off the over, but as importantly, a wicket for Nick Potts. He got George Linder caught by Amrit Basra for 29.
And I think even though the game's not finished yet, obviously Derbyshire are more than likely going to win. It's nice to see Derbyshire in this position.
Isn't it just?
We've been waiting for this over the past couple of years, and Mickey's been questioned a lot of the time about when are Derbyshire going to deliver. You're bringing your experience. That means you should be able to manage Derbyshire, bring in the good players, and it seems like it's always been the same, and maybe they've found that formula that. And this isn't even Derbyshire's strongest T20 team that they've got in their squad that they can pick from. So I think from the fan side, it brings some optimism.
Akif Javed from the racecourse and bowls to Tom Moores, who clouts him down the ground for 4. 169 for 5. Some defiance from the coach's son, Tom Moores. 66 to win off 17 now. Akif Javed has bowled much better tonight. He's bowled as well tonight as we've seen him bowl in the 4 games, really. For my money. He bowls to Moores, who he's hit him, and that has hurt. He's knocked him off his feet, and straight away, and Aaron Donald is in to see if he's okay. We need some medical attention here. They're racing on. You don't often see that in a cricket match. That is nasty. Very nasty indeed. It was a ball that bounced, didn't it? It pitched. It wasn't a full
I don't know whether it hit him on the full, as in, or whether it came off the back into his face.
Was it his face? I thought it went into his ribs, but it's very unpleasant. We're not going to see a replay of that. I'm fairly certain. Quite right too. Well done, Phoebes. 169 for 5. They need 66 off 16 balls. Derbyshire have won this game now, and it's not often you can say that this far out in a T20. But that was very unpleasant indeed.
Just seemed like it cramped him up for room,
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere, and the additional bounce has just either hit him in his grill or, as you said, top half of his body.
Some I'm going to get a replay of it here fairly shortly. So it was just a quick delivery from Hakim, and it bounced up. It's hit it on the body, hasn't it?
Just looked like he did a somersault in the air.
Yeah, it's the way he went down was very unpleasant indeed. Oh no, it might have been the head, you know. Look, you're the whiz with the computer. I'll just leave the computer to you. What are you doing? What's going on here? Oh, clever. I didn't know you could do that. Sorry, we're just messing around with the computer here as we wait for Tom Moores to continue to receive treatment. It struck a very nasty blow, and he's still on the ground. We'll just take a bit of the shine off proceedings this evening. Nobody likes to see that. Nobody likes to see that. And when you've got somebody bowling the top end 80s, early 90s at you, the last thing you need is to be hit by a delivery. Just having a slow motion look at that. We're not being ghoulish. I just want to finally see exactly where it did hit him. It was slightly short of a length. Neck. Yeah, which is never good, is it? Hit him in the neck.
Is James Pike still the Derbyshire, the Nottinghamshire physio? No.
He's now a freelance in the IPL, I believe. Pipey.
They've got a few ex-Derbyshire coaches and players in Nottinghamshire's ranks now, haven't they? On the coaching front.
Well, you'd know better than me.
And Bota.
Of course.
And obviously James as well.
Yeah. So we've got Ben Slater, who doesn't play T20 cricket. Let me run you through a few scores. Durham have been skittled out for 93 by Yorkshire, who've won their game at Chester Street by 58 runs. Yorkshire going great guns in the North Group. Leicestershire, well, they need 16 off 20 balls to win at Old Trafford. Lancashire 145 for 9. Leicestershire now 130 for 3. They're the other two games in the North Group. Down in the South and in the Midlands, Surrey made 174 for 8. Hampshire need 89 off 64 balls. They're 86 for 3. Sitting up now is Tom Moores, which is, I think, good news, but whether he carries on or not. In this position, it's almost pointless him carrying on as well, really, because they need nearly 25 and over. Worcestershire beat Warwickshire by 6 wickets with 7 balls to spare, having chased down 142 to win that one. Glamorgan have beaten Somerset by 7 wickets with 37 balls remaining, so the champions down at Sophia Gardens. 171 for 9, played 175 for 3. Moores is on his feet now, which is why you can hear the applause, and I do think he's going to carry on as well, which is quite remarkable. Essex, well, they've beaten Kent by 9 wickets with 6 overs and 2 balls to spare down at Canterbury. Derbyshire there on Sunday, of course, for a 4 o'clock start. Northamptonshire have beaten Gloucestershire by 7 wickets with 22 balls to spare. Northamptonshire chasing down 165 in 16 overs and 2 balls. It can also shake up the bowler, can't it, when he fells a batsman like that, and he needs that much attention. Quite often you see somebody clonked on the head and they come out, they do the concussion test and everything is fine, but when you hit somebody like that in an area of the body that isn't really protected, it can shake the bowler up as well. So Akif Javed will do well just to keep his head on here.
It'll be interesting to see what ball he bowls now.
A slower ball wide of the off stump, I'm going. 169 for 5, 4 balls of the over left. Javed is in, and that one is played by Moores off an edge down towards third man for 4. 173 for 5. This is a brave effort from Tom Moores now. They've been struck rather unpleasantly by Akif Javed. He's talking to himself and working out where he's going to bowl the next delivery as he walks back to his mark. He can't be talking to anybody else. Well, he can, but I'm not sure Ross Whiteley would understand a word of it. 173 for 5. Saman Khan didn't speak any English either. As Javed bowls, that one is played up, down the ground. It's going to go for 6. That's remarkable. Over the head of Martin Anderson. I think Tom Moores has decided, sack this, I'm just going to swing for everything here, and I think it's the way forward. It's the only thing he can do, really. 56 off 14 balls. How many do you think they should leave for the last over? Moores goes on to 65.
Well, let's hope Ollie Stone ain't bowling the last over.
Yes, quite.
You just never know. But I think when you get hit as well, you're sometimes a little bit hesitant as a batter, but it seems like it hasn't affected him at all there.
No, it's
a 4 and a 6.
It's incredible. 65 off 29 now, Moores. Akif Javed bowls to him and he heaves this into the leg side, in off the boundary. Comes Nick Potts. Single is taken, 179, no, 180, I beg your pardon, 180 for 5. Normally, if a team, the opposition here at the Central Co-op County Ground is 180 for 5 with 2 overs to go, they're going to win at a canter. Not so this evening. 55
not anymore
off
in
30.
this
Not anymore,
era,
oh, I like
no.
that, not anymore.
Just seems like the average score keeps on going up and up and up, right across the...
Yes, across the whole well, across the whole game. Andy Howell is on strike. He's struck now as he tries to heave it into the leg side, on the body somewhere. 180 for 5 at the end of the over, 15 from it. 27 and a half runs and over required in the final 2 overs. I'm going to stick my neck out here and suggest that Derbyshire can't lose. Akif Javed, 4 overs, 1 for 29. That's more like it. And remember, a 6 and a 4 off that over as well. So well done to him.
If you're not taking wickets, you've got to be economical, and that's what he's done tonight. So hopefully he's not too far away from a match-winning bowling performance.
Potsy, Nick Potts from the city end into bowl to Moores, who gets a full delivery and then hits Howell at the other end. That's the last thing they need, really, to be hitting each other. That might have gone for 4. Benny Howell.
Luckily, I think that hit some of his inner thigh or his pad or something along them lines, or else he would have gone down very quickly.
Oh, I'd have gone down. He just couldn't get out of the way. Remarkable. 181 for 5. Required rate almost 30. They need 54 off 11 deliveries. Can't remember the last time I felt comfortable watching a Derbyshire T20. In comes Potts and bowls. That's driven down the ground. Nice shot. Howell picks up a boundary.
Derbyshire win tonight. Who do you reckon you'll be? Who do you reckon gets your man of the match?
That's a shout and a half, isn't it? It can't be Martin again. I think he's exempt. I would be surprised if Nye didn't come out, in all honesty, but for his 84 off 31.
I think that really sets the tone, doesn't it? At the top of the order.
Yeah. I don't mind speaking to a couple tonight, actually. So,
who would you like to speak to?
I wouldn't mind speaking to Nick Potts and just asking him how he feels about being in this side. He's in now and bowls. That's wide, and signalled wide. Perhaps not. It has been remarkable. I don't think even he would have thought that he would be in this side. Jack Maul hasn't got a wicket tonight. First match in which he hasn't got a wicket, and we're not going to see him bowl now. I'm fairly sure Ben Aitchison will bowl the final over. 1 for 29 from his 3 overs. 2 for 37, Nick Potts. Who's running in now from the city end and bowls, and that one is played out into the offside. It beats Wayne Madsen. Will beat Amrit Basra, will it? No, it won't beat Amrit Basra. He gets there, much to the delight of this Central Co-op County Ground crowd. Keeps them down to a couple, loses his hat, which he's almost certain to do with all that hair. 188 for 5. And the required rate remains above 30. 47 off 9. That's not a good equation for a batting side. And comes Potts. Bowls to Howell, who lifts him down the ground for 6. That's a big shot. How far up the stand? Well, it didn't even reach the stand in the end. It looked like he had much more on it than that.
I think someone tried to take the catch there, but missed it completely.
I think that's wise. Unless you want
In some grounds around the world, you win some big money, don't you?
Yeah, say 20. Well, I don't know how big the money is, but it's big for South Africa. But yeah, and if you have the particular credit card that's sponsoring it as well, you get it all wiped off. I won't be able to spend it quick enough. 194 for 5. Potts is in. That's a slower ball, pulled into the leg side, out towards Martin Anderson. They've run one, they'll come back for a second. It matters little. 196 for 5. Whoever we speak to will say it was a good pitch. Although if it's a batter, he might say how tricky it was out there to score 84 off 31 balls. I haven't had the text yet. Normally comes about now. Potts is on his way in. Ball, short delivery, and he hits the batter. And I think that's been hit. On the helmet, Benny Howell. So he'll require a concussion check. I think he's okay. Gets a pat on the back from an Aaron Donald. And Nick Potts finishes his 4 overs with 2 for 47. Notts 196 for 5. They need 39 runs off the last over.
Keep your foot behind the line. Is that what all the commentators say? Keep your foot behind the line.
As long as Ben Aitchison doesn't bowl a no ball, it doesn't matter how many he goes for off the bat, or indeed off the pads, or off nothing.
The physio's done some steps tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Chap with the same hairstyle as me on the big screen. Very fine hairstyle, I would suggest. There are people in the commentary box making up for my lack of hair this evening. Good luck charm. We were starting to think it was Joe Shackett who was the good luck charm, because I was with Freddie Cardy last week. He couldn't find us a win. He had a fairly ignominious opener. All made up for it this evening though. Here is Ben Aitchison then. 16 runs off the Nick Potts over. As I say, it doesn't really matter. It will matter to him. Aitchison then on his way into bowl to Tom Moores. And Moores slaps it down the ground for a single, just to cement the fact that Derbyshire will win this game. 38 required off 5 balls.
Do you think Morley should have bowled a bit more?
No, well, no, not really. I think he might have bowled Montgomery's 2, mightn't he? Montgomery had a difficult night tonight, went for 34 in his 2 overs. So I suppose yes, but
they'll take a win, won't they?
I think so.
Doesn't really matter.
No, the net run rate was boosted so much by last week's victory that that isn't going to be a major factor, I'm fairly sure. As Aitchison is into bowl to Howell, who pushes it down the ground for a single down towards Martin Anderson. 198 for 5. That required rate, just for the record, is now 55 and a half and over.
When do you reckon the last time that was, when Derbyshire were on the verge of winning?
I don't remember it. This is a full toss. It's gone for 6, straight down the ground of Tom Moore's bat. He moves on to 74. The 200 comes up for Notts. 204 for 5.
Should have batted him further up the order.
Well, he's shown plenty. I mean, he showed intent before he was hit, but since he was hit by Akif Javed, he's really gone to town, hasn't he? 3 balls to go then. In goes Aitchison. Ball's at slightly short of a length, and Moores can't really get hold of that one. Out towards Martin Anderson, down below us to our left. 2 balls to go. 30 runs required. He can overstep now if he wants.
Don't be saying that. Let them just get the win.
Aitchison on his way in. Penultimate ball of the match. Howells edges it and is caught on the edge of the circle. Comfortable catch for Caleb Jewell. Howell goes for 19. Aitchison has his second wicket. Started things off by getting Joe Clark. Now he picks up his second. Derbyshire's victory is just about complete. 205 for 6 now. Notts. Howell goes for 19.
How many points do you reckon wins the?
That's a good question.
Wins the group or qualification?
I've been bombarded with questions tonight, but you finally come up with a good one. I should save all these because we're going to have about half an hour to talk in between interviews.
That's easy for you, that is, Fletch.
Oh, I could do it. I'm just worried about you.
The fans.
Just worried. Very good. The man named after my school comes in to bat, one ball, Aitchison bowls to him and he hits him for 6. Pocklington, superb shot from a short delivery, and Derbyshire win this one by 23 runs. Excellent effort, 23-run victory. Pocklington finishes it off with a 6. But Derbyshire now beaten Notts for the 3rd time in the last 10 years. And the 2nd time at home in the last 10 years. It doesn't happen very often. We said at the top, perhaps this wasn't the strongest Notts lineup. Well, they've given it a go, 211 for 6. But Derbyshire, 23-run winners in the East Midlands Derby to move to 2 wins and 2 losses in the North Group, with a game on Sunday against Essex up next. Colsey.
Fletch, thank you. And just to put some more flesh on the bones of that statistic, it's the first time Derbyshire have won back-to-back T20 matches against Notts since the halcyon early days when it was seen as a bit of a joke competition. 2005, the last time Derbyshire won back-to-back T20 matches. After winning the first 4 in the competition, Derbyshire, they then went on to win only 5 of the next 31. That's just an example of the dominance Notts have had over Derbyshire, but that was a very dominating performance for the Falcons this evening, and a comfortable victory over their arch rivals. And the supporters that have been at the county ground very much enjoying, most of them, there were 1 or 2 I noticed on the camera, not supporters in their green shirts, but the majority here right behind Derbyshire, and they are filing out to the county ground, very pleased with their night's work, or very pleased with the night's work of the players they've been watching. So we have half an hour or so left on BBC Radio Derby, plenty of time for Fletch to get some post-match reaction, and plenty of time for the 3 of us to go through it. And there is lots to enjoy from this performance for Derbyshire. Right at the top of the order, Nye Donald, 84 from 31, Martin Anderson contributing with 69, and the bowlers as well playing their part, 2 wickets apiece for Ben Aitchison and Nick Potts, and Akif Javid, no question, his best 4 overs in a Derbyshire shirt. Overall, Greg, as Fletcher's mentioned, I don't think it's ever happened where you come to the county ground with a feeling of great confidence that Derbyshire have it in them to win, and I don't think there was any point in that match where you felt that the victory would be anything but assured for Derbyshire.
I think everyone was quietly confident off the back of that Leicester game, and even the first couple of balls, you just thought Derbyshire were all over them here, and Notts are absolutely shell-shocked into what had happened. Any team that posts over 100 in the first stand of their batting performance, the chances of them winning are very high.
Never takes long for the hopper cover to be put into place, hence the noise. Long-time listeners to Radio Derby will know that this is very traditional when it comes to Fletch and I having a conversation, but it'll last 20 seconds or so, and then it'll be put into place, ready for Derbyshire's next outing. The tone was set right at the top of the order with the captain and his 84. He won the toss, he chose to bat first. There was very little hesitation in that decision, and it was a strange power play, wasn't it? The number of runs scored was great, but the number of runs scored backwards a square through third man, I don't think we've ever seen quite the number of runs scored in that manner. As a bowling side, Notts must have been, well, they must have been so frustrated at the number of runs that were coming through that area.
Absolutely, they set their plans to have the fielders in particular areas, and when the ball keeps on going to the same part of the ground, which is so unconventional, it is so difficult to contain, and that's why they got off to an absolute flyer.
But then Nye really then did find his rhythm, didn't he? I mean, yes, there were a few that flew through the third man area, but he is such a destructive force at the top of the order. It must be so difficult to to A, set fields for him, and B, know where to bowl to him.
Absolutely, and they've done all the research. They know exactly how they play, but somehow he just finds a way about outsmarting the bowlers. And you look at Notts' bowling attack; all have had international sort of opportunities and played at the highest levels. So it just shows.